Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So recently we deep dived into the Logan Paul CoffeeZilla situation from start to finish, and quite like I did with Dramageddon, because in a way this is like Dramageddon, you know, like CryptoGeddon. It's like Dramageddon for like straight men and stuff. It's the first time I've ever really understood crypto stuff in general, and I was so locked in. So what I'm gonna do, like the Dramageddon videos, is I'm gonna put everything start to finish in this video. So if you want to hear the entire story from start to final lawsuit, let's clock in. Okay, we have been covering Mr. Beast, as we know, profusely, and a big name that comes up is CoffeeZilla. Now, CoffeeZilla is a really interesting one because, first of all, he's the only person in the entire world that gets me to understand crypto. Do you know how impressive that is? First of all, chat, is there any of y'all that don't understand crypto stuff as well, or is it just me? For some reason, this gorgeous man with a beautiful face card describes it in a way that feels so dumbed down that I understand it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. But I understand it with him. And also just amazing face card. So he's an interesting character because he keeps getting brought up when it comes to Mr. Beast because he has been exposing Mr. Beast's shady crypto deals. And it's a big problem. I need to sneeze. Sorry about that. Sorry you had to see me like that. And so anyways, he keeps getting brought up because he keeps exposing Thank you. He keeps exposing Mr. Beast's crypto deals, and when Unpaid interviewed him, there were some follow-up questions that were provided by, God bless you chat, by CoffeeZilla. Now, what's really interesting is CoffeeZilla is currently being sued by Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul, infamously BFFs with KSI and Mr. Beast, infamously co-owner of Yummy Lunchly. So Mr. Beast and Logan Paul are business partners, if anything. And the person that is getting questions to Mr. Beast and is being brought up by Unpaid to Mr. Beast is someone that Mr. Beast's work partner, and maybe romantic partner, is suing. And I think it's really fascinating and really interesting. And a lot of people were really, yup. Clock it. Clock that moldy Lunchly. I like my cheese moldy, bruh. Now, this goes to show how little I care about my body. I have ate Lunchly before, but that's not all. When I go back to America very soon, I will be purchasing as many Lunchlys as I can find. And I want to try as many Lunchlys as possible. And we're just going to see what happens. It's going to be a challenge. How many Lunchlys until I'm hospitalized? Winner gets $1 million in debt from American hospital bills. So anyways, a lot of people were really shocked that I didn't know about this lawsuit that has been going on. Like, a lot of people were commenting, oh my God, Adam, I'm a mucker, but I also really love CoffeeZilla. Like, I bought a top to support him in this legal battle. Like, it's a really big thing with Logan Paul, and it's been this ongoing saga. And I'm like, okay, y'all, I am shocked that it hasn't came under my radar, but I also understand why it hasn't came under my radar, because crypto stuff is very like straight man. What is in my YouTube recommendations? K-pop. That's really it. Don't really get much more than that. Selena Gomez music video, Miley Cyrus music video. I'm not on that side. However, I have been forcibly dragged into it because I've been trying my best to understand everything going on with Mr. Beast. If there's one thing I love covering, is a lawsuit. I find them incredibly fascinating, and I love rooting for someone in it. I already know who I'm going to root for here, but I'm not going to say it so I don't seem biased. It's Logan Paul. No. So there is a video from CoffeeZilla, which is called Logan Paul Sued Me. And it's a relatively recent video. God, that face card is amazing. 3 months ago, 6 million views. So I messaged someone who messaged me and was like, you need to cover this. And I was like, all right, like, where am I going to get the information? And they were like, there is an entire playlist on YouTube called investigating CryptoZoo and these Logan Paul alleged scams, right? So, coffeezilla, me before I've had my morning coffee. That was a very, like, live, laugh, love joke, Chloe. I'm really disappointed in you, actually. So we're going to start at the start. This first one is called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam. Let's hit it. DJ, play that beat.
CryptoZoo.co. I am so excited about this project. It's so fun. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
A fun game that earns you money? How much did you guys make from CryptoZoo?
I lost around $50,000 in CryptoZoo.
I lost $40,000.
And I lost around 15,000 US dollars.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000. $500,000 Australian, which is $500,000.
All right. Hello. First of all, where are y'all getting this money to lose it? Hey, I'm on y'all's side. Don't worry. Don't worry. But like, oh, I lost $500,000. What? If I lose a 20 from my fucking purse, I go psycho. That's funny. Clutches pearls. How'd you do that? My goodness gracious. Gambling. My crypto is spending $150. Hey, not anymore. With the 20% off.
In CryptoZoo.
Shut up! No, you haven't!
Yeah, 500K.
Oh, no. Today, we're investigating Logan Paul's CryptoZoo, a blockchain game that made millions but never worked. Some of you guys think you know the story, but it goes so much deeper. I've uncovered sociopaths,
Diva's face card.
fake orphans. Did I mention fake?
Girl, what was the discount? It's only for this weekend, and there's limited numbers, but it's code DIVA at checkout for turn. You'll get 20% off.
Orphans. And of course, at the center of it, we have Logan Paul himself, who has abandoned this thing, leaving thousands of fake orphans in his wake. Wait a second. Thousands of victims in his wake. Now, you'll be hearing from some of those people because their stories are heartbreaking. This is the first in a 3-part series that's been a year.
I love a trilogy. A year in the making.
High-effort investigations like this one. Please consider supporting this channel on Patreon. I don't take sponsors. We are viewer-supported, so if you want to and are able to, thank you. Either way, enjoy the video.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. We have a massive team behind it and are probably out of pocket like $1 million just because we believe it's going to work. September 1st, CryptoZoo.co.
We don't scam. I've never scammed anyone before. Logan cares extremely deeply about his audience.
Ethan, jump scare.
His brand doesn't
And he's sitting with Logan Paul.
scam to make money.
Welcome to part 1, the $1 million mystery that began this whole story. Like many people, I first heard about CryptoZoo from a podcast Logan runs called Impulsive, which was the experience of a lot of people that I spoke to.
So I first heard about it on the Logan Paul podcast.
Impulsive, I think.
It was
Love this guy's accent. Wait, I want to try to replicate that.
From a podcast Logan runs called Impulsive, which was the experience of a lot of people that I spoke to.
So I first heard about it on the
Logan Paul podcast.
Impulsive,
That was quite good.
I think.
It was off one of the Impulsive episodes.
It was off one of the Impulsive episodes.
Impulsive, I think.
It was off one of the Impulsive episodes.
It was off one of the Impulsive episodes.
The thing that I'm most excited for, and this is the first time I've ever said anything about this, for the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. I think there needs to be a fresh take, and this project that I have is that fresh take.
Now look, at first, I was just as surprised at this pitch as anyone else because I just got finished roasting Logan for a different coin called Dink Doink, which his fans lost money on.
I'm a Dink Doink fan. Dumbest I've ever seen, and that's why I'm all in.
I mean, the thing that's really crazy about this is just, at its core, it's rich men getting richer and people being exploited and losing so much money in the process. Sometimes those people being your fans that support you. And that's so crazy to me that these men have created a reputation where they can scam and fuck over their fans so much and people still support them. I'm like, wow, people have such low standards. That is so great. I cannot wrap my head around it. Like watching a creator who you know at his fundamental core gives zero shit about you as a viewer at all. Like, not that you need a parasocial relationship. I'm not saying that, but I'm just like, don't you like to know that like a creator like appreciates you watching? That's the bare minimum. Now imagine like, you know that my only intention with you is getting you to send me $500 million. You know what I mean? And if you don't, fuck, you know what I mean? Sorry, I love you, Adam, but I gotta go. My favorite streamer just went live. Whatever. Maybe I should start exploiting all you guys with that fucking attitude.
It looked like Dink Doink was all about the memes, but it turns out they secretly were tied to the project, and Logan created the Dink Doink character himself and subsequently abandoned that project. So if you invested in it, you got blasted, and Logan rightfully took a lot of heat for Dink Doink, which is why I was surprised when he seemingly immediately jumped into another crypto project. But Logan insisted CryptoZoo, it was different.
Not Twink Twink.
This time, it was his, and it wasn't even a project at all. It was a game that could earn you money.
I'm excited to launch my game.
You keep using and you just did it again. You keep using a word there. Game. You're not using like a project. It's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
Now you might be wondering, how's it possible to earn money from a game?
A fun game.
Try to break it down for you. This is how it was supposed to work. You started by buying this crypto token called Zoo, which is their in-game currency, and you use Zoo.
Hold on, I'm gonna be silent here because I need to lock in because I need at the core to understand this.
A game.
Well, that's what my one's called, Twink Coin.
Let me try to break it down for you. This is how it was supposed to work.
All right, y'all, lock in if you haven't heard this either.
You started by buying this crypto token called Zoo, which is their in-game currency, and you use Zoo coins to then buy egg NFTs, which you can then hatch to become animals. You then can breed those two animals to become hybrid animals. For example, if you breed a gorilla.
Okay, I understand it, but like, who cares? Can someone, please, I hope there is someone in the chat that like really loves NFTs and really loves crypto. At its core, can someone please tell me what is the fascination with NFTs? You're spending $500,000 on a picture of an animal you bred? Well, bitch, guess what? I just screenshotted it and I got it for free. Please. Adam, most of us are probably gay. Fair. Someone tell me. I'm so lost already. Okay, babe, you're on your own with that one because this is really easy so far, and we're only 4 minutes in. I'm leaving you in the trenches if you're like not keeping up already. Like even I'm keeping up. Adam, we're all queers. Of course we don't know. Literally just ownership rights. The original source, like Taylor Swift masters. NFTs are basically having ownership of a picture. Okay, again, I've screenshotted it. It's now mine as well. It's an unnecessary status symbol. There we go. I'm just going to leave it at that.
And a kitten, you get a Gore Kitty. And the more rare the NFT, the higher the daily yield of Zoo tokens that animal earns you every day. Theoretically, it works like almost like passive income. You can then burn your
They are so horrible for the environment.
NFTs to release the Zoo they earned back.
Hold on, wait.
Gore Kitty. And the more rare the NFT, the higher the daily yield of zoo tokens that
Love that word. Yield. Yeah.
animal earns you every day. Theoretically, it works like...
Okay, this is a really unfortunate segue, but today's video is sponsored by NFT, and we're going to be launching our own Mucker NFT. I'm kidding. Am I? Is this an NFT? Come on, make this into a GIF.
almost like passive income. You can then burn your animal NFTs to release the zoo they earned.
Why would you burn the animal?
Back to you, and from there you can invest it into eggs or just cash out. Now, some of you of the Egyptian persuasion might notice...
Surprisingly, I'm following right now. Mucker Twink coin on the way. On the way. Wait, I love him. I'm following right now. And I know this is probably really easy and everyone's understanding it, but like, you have no idea how stupid I am when it comes to stuff like this. I'm following. Love this diva. Have I subscribed to him? He warrants to subscribe for this. Finally, someone has made me understand this bullshit.
Some triangular qualities to this game description. But let's not be too quick to judge, because remember, there are a lot of NFT games built on this model. It's called play to earn. Now, Logan admits that there are other games like his, but what's going to really make his stand out is that other games have randomly generated assets. His game has handmade art.
It's quick to make a digital asset with, you know, unique, randomly generated characteristics. We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro. Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists making art for our project.
Now, I'll admit, this all sounds very enticing. Handmade art, a fun game that can earn you money, and one of the biggest influencers in the world backing it. You might think, how can I lose? Which is why when people were told all you had to do to play was buy an egg, people spent millions. Just on the first launch between ETH and Zoo, people bought $2.5 million worth of eggs in the first day. And
some of y'all need to be put in conservatorships. And I need to be the conservator. Who are the people spending this? I want to be like, this is children with like mommy and daddy's credit card, but I'm like, all those men at the start of that are like grown people.
did I mention the game hadn't even been launched yet? All people were buying was the marketing and the promises. And it wasn't just the NFTs they bought either. The Zoo token also skyrocketed in value, reaching a $2 billion market cap pre-game launch, right? The trading volume was in the 10.
Y'all are so stupid!
Day, which kind of is like
no shade.
Fortnite not coming out, but people trading tens of millions of dollars in V-Bucks every day. That's what this was like. And I know.
Wait, that analogy really made me understand it. He is so good at this. I want to start playing games again. I really want to start playing Animal Crossing again. But the problem is everyone says that like Animal Crossing is like dead. Also, I never really understood how to play the game. I know that's really stupid, but like it's true. Is there any muckers playing games on Switch? Is there any games that like people could like add me and we could like play and you could like I could like have friends to play with? That sounds so sad. But like there's no chat room involved. It's not problematic. We could literally just join like a Mario Kart game. Don't message me. I won't respond. The thing is, I think I would have to remove all of my friends on a stream or on the Switch because whenever I first got my Switch years and years ago, I got added by a bunch of muckers, and then I guess they all didn't like me anymore because like no one plays any games with me. So I might remove all of my friends and then start afresh. Maybe I should do that. I should do that. I should do that because I don't play my Switch. I don't play my Switch anymore. And the reason is because I have like no one to play games with. So stay tuned. After we film this video, if anyone's watching on stream, we'll do that. We'll do that.
it sounds stupid to buy an influencer project, but you have to understand, people saw Logan as different.
It was Logan Paul at the end of the day. An internet personality that I actually trusted. That I actually...
Adam, these people are victims. It's gonna be so hard for me to take these people seriously. But I've gotta. All right. I'm gonna go into this blindly. I don't know who Logan Paul is. Heck, I trust him too. Because otherwise, I'm going to be making fun of a lot of people here. I'm going to be making fun of a lot of people. So I'm just going to pretend I have no idea who Logan Paul is. The tongue is being bit. Okay, let's hear that from the start.
I know, it sounds stupid to buy an influencer project, but you have to understand, people saw Logan.
Don't trust internet personalities. I consume the content, but I don't trust Adam for shit. Clock it.
As different.
It was Logan Paul at the end of the day. An internet personality that I actually trusted. That I actually kind of believed in.
Obviously, when someone so influential releases something, everyone wants to be a part of it.
I sort of believed in this false fallacy that everyone else started believing, that Logan Paul's a changed man.
I thought it was a safe place having a guy like that identified, like Logan Paul being the head of the project.
They had seen this story he had been telling everyone, that he was this reformed influencer, right? That he was no longer a reckless clout goblin just in it for the money. They thought this time it's different. Logan Paul couldn't possibly scam us, right? But as the game got closer to release, the CryptoZoo team started releasing the first ever photos of these animals. And
is that them?
This handmade art story wasn't really true. It was actually Adobe stock photos mashed together. This was the sort of first red flag of this project. And I made a video about it at the time, but it was kind of surface level, and something didn't add up beneath the surface. Something where I just couldn't shut this case down in my head. It was actually...
That's even crazier than it being AI. Oh my god! Wow! That is crazy. Yeah, 6 months drawing them. Oh my god.
Part of the announcement video that something they said, see if you can spot it.
We have a massive team behind it and are probably out of pocket like $1 million just because we believe it's going to work.
On development.
Yeah.
That's the line that started this whole mystery. We spent $1 million on development. I couldn't get this out of my head. You know, is he lying? There's no way he expects people to believe he spent it on art. So wait, maybe he spent it on blockchain stuff, right? That's what I thought. But then I audited the smart contract, and it's not handmade at all. It's not even original. It's what's called a fork, a copy of, some other code that exists out there. One of them is called Floki Shib X, which launched before it. So where'd this $1 million go? I didn't understand. And Logan just kept repeating this claim.
We put hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. Personally, the whole team, $1 million plus.
Now, at the time I'm looking into this, there's a teaser going around for Hatch Day, which is the day you can hatch your egg NFTs. And it kind of symbolized the true launch of CryptoZoo. So I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is where they spent all the money on their game. Even their community manager, Ben Roth, promised people, after Hatch Day, things will take a turn for the 180.
So they're even acknowledging that things aren't going great.
Put Ben Roth on the board too. I needed to know all the characters in CryptoZoo. And I waited. And finally, on November 3rd, 2021, Ben Roth turned out to be right. Things did take a turn on Hatch Day, only for the worse. Let's meet one of the victims, Helicopter Bob, to explain more.
My name is Rob, Helicopter Bob, lost just under $7,000.
Whoa. What a fun name. Rob, first name Rob, middle name Helicopter, last name Bob. Rob Helicopter Bob.
With CryptoZoo.
And the first thing I asked Bob was about his animals, if he was making money with CryptoZoo. how much he made, and if the passive yield worked.
Oh, it never did from the beginning. It wasn't even written into the contract where it showed that you were actually yielding Zoo, but there was nothing that was actually,
All jokes aside, it makes me really sad that people trying to phrase this in a really nice way. It's making me really sad that people have invested money into something. Some people who may not have even had the money to be doing this in an attempt that they were being a part of something really great. And as much as I disagree with crypto and NFTs and stuff, listen, these people believed it, and ultimately they just lost it all. And again, just to these people who gain all the money on their behalf.
backing that up. There was no way to claim your yield. There never was.
Wait. Play that again. Did you hear that?
There was no way to claim your yield. There never was.
Hold on. The core mechanic of CryptoZoo, that you can make money with these stupid animals, didn't even work on launch day. And still, to this day, a year later, still does not work, is what the investors are saying. Which, this is just crazy. People spent millions of dollars on these eggs. But it even gets worse because I kept talking to people and I discovered something. Because remember I told you you could buy eggs with those Zoo coins? Well, apparently they also made it so you could buy them with Ethereum. And on the day of selling, about half of these purchases took place with Ethereum. Only it turns out for the people who spent ETH, not only did the yield part of it not work, did the NFTs not pay you, you also couldn't even hatch them.
So I acquired a bunch of eggs. And I actually want to play the game. I didn't acquire the eggs with the intent of keeping them. I actually wanted to hatch them and see what I got out of them and play in this ecosystem that's been advertised or whatever, right? And then I can't do anything. It's not showing up on the website when I connect my wallet, etc., etc. So I'm a little baffled. I'm like, I must be doing something wrong. So I open up a support ticket. with CryptoZoo, and Ben Roth is actually the person answering my support ticket. Oh yeah, no, it's down for the moment, but we're working on it. Let me tell you, it's never been up.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture. There's nothing I could do with it.
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
There's nothing I could do with it. You could ask any of those community guys. That's basically worth nothing whatsoever.
Wow. So on launch day, basically nothing worked, and a year later, that's still true. Now, after this was discovered, the price of Zoo fell 63% in just 24 hours. And at this point, Logan Paul basically goes silent on CryptoZoo. No more podcast mentions, no more saying he handmade art. CryptoZoo already got millions in investments, but Logan only speaks in the Discord twice over the next year to say, quote, sober, currently shaking my head, and yo. That was his contribution to this project. Meanwhile, his...
Ooh. This is like you have to be so fucking evil. Not to take it to this place, but could you imagine if a female creator ever did this? Oh, God, people like this are just in no way deserve a platform.
Community manager Ben Roth was actively claiming that Logan was going to be marketing CryptoZoo any day now. He told people things like, Logan is an uncontrollable marketing guru. It's over when we launch. And when we have a product to market, it'll get...
So basically just giving people these false promises that eventually it'll become profitable because Logan Paul's a genius and is waiting to promote it.
Marketed. And marketing will crush. I promise you. And this disconnect between Logan abandoning the project and his team on CryptoZoo saying that it was going to be any day now, left investors feeling like they were being led on.
All he had to do was go on and tell us, look, there's something going on with this project, I'm abandoning it, or whatever, before people got more and more trapped. And promising, yeah, this is going to be great, but when it came to actually,
Again, that's a great point, that people therefore are still investing in it or still a part of it because they're being promised that eventually this will become something so big, and it didn't. Oh, it's just set up to exploit the vulnerable.
he just hid away from it.
No, I haven't.
Decency to come out, talk to the people that invested initially, that invested along the way on all of the fake and false promises, on all of the false hype, and be honest with people.
Because surely Logan Paul, who's got this $1 billion hydration company and a WWE star, he's got enough money. He doesn't need to rug us lot.
And it's because of these false promises about marketing that these poor investors believed in CryptoZoo so long. They sat and watched every Logan Paul episode trying to guess and decipher when this so-called marketing push would happen. And Logan and his team really fed into this with a lot of cryptic messages. Only a month after CryptoZoo's launch, actually, the hatch day, they started teasing this.
Not too much of this is out, but he's been working on a massive project.
And one of them will be the biggest thing I ever do. It's like my life and soul is put into this project, which is where most of my time these days goes.
Wow, surely this secret project that Logan put his soul into is CryptoZoo, right? You know, the project he launched a month ago? Well,
and again, the phrasing of that after promising people that something big is coming, it can only be insinuated that it is that. But even if it can't be insinuated, it should be. These people have invested so much and they're waiting.
Fans certainly thought so.
I'm like, holy cow, it makes so much sense. He's talking about CryptoZoo. Ben and the dudes are like putting smiley faces and egging the rest of the community. Like, this is it, guys. You know, this is what we've been working towards. I mean, this is it. This it's finally happening. Logan's gonna market the project, and they kept saying that Logan's gonna market the project, and it's gonna change everything.
So now imagine their surprise when another clip surfaces of Logan finally admitting this secret project isn't CryptoZoo at all. It's something else entirely.
I'll tell you about this project when we get closer to launch. This project of mine is going to be...
Is that the thing with the egg? The zoo?
No.
Okay,
This one's
going to be, this will be crazy I've ever done.
Oh man, can you imagine if you're one of these investors and Logan Paul's going pitching this new secret project and you're thinking it's CryptoZoo and someone's like, oh, is it that thing with...
Whoa, dude, I keep getting fucking chills. Oh, it's like flat out evil. Oh my god, I'm fucking chills. Look, people, I feel emotion. It's like not only just like no respect, but like these are the people that are like actually investing in you and like giving you the money and like, and there's just at its core no respect. Oh my god. I can't believe I haven't, like, known of this before. This is actually one of the most shocking things. Handler, have a good night. This is so evil. It truly is. What the fuck? What the fuck?
With the eggs? And he's like, no, definitely not. That was the last project. This is the real project that I'm working on. Thankfully, people didn't just let this slide because as he went around making the rounds on his new project called 99 Originals, people were like, hey, didn't you just abandon your last one? And unsurprisingly, it's not his fault. It's the bad actors who ruined the project.
As I see people giving multiple explanations for why these haven't worked, and you know there's accusations out there. How does it make you feel when people are doing these takedown videos about your NFT projects previously?
It's sad because of what I just said. There's so much going on behind the scenes. Like, Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I'm here.
Isn't that such a crazy deflection? There's bad guys out there, guys. I'm not one of them. That's your response? That's your fucking response? Hey, there's bad guys out there. Not me, though.
To build.
This is a space where a lot of people do see dollar signs. Like any burgeoning industry, if there's money to be made, there's going to be both good and bad people.
There's a lot of shady characters in the crypto space. I'm learning all of it. We had a
an issue with CryptoZoo, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million, like behind the scenes drama that like.
So if that is true, you make so much money with all of these projects to buy that out though, right? But furthermore in this, it's so crazy that there's never 1 ounce of an apology or focusing on the people that have been fucked over. It's all about him being fucked over.
Like took a stick and stuck it in the spokes of my wheels.
Oh, well, that wasn't expected. There's a shady developer who held up Logan's code hostage in Switzerland. That's why this hasn't worked the whole time. He held it hostage for $1 million. Well, let's add that to the board. I mean, isn't the mystery solved? Now, obviously, the first thing I wanted to do was hunt down this developer, who we'll be calling Z here, and find out the truth of what happened. Why did he steal Logan's code for $1 million? However, I finally got a hold of him, and when I did, he admitted he took the code hostage, but he says the reason for it was nothing like what Logan had said.
He literally never paid me anything at all, ever. I never was paid. And, we got to a point when I was working on it where I just realized they were just going to try to steal all of my work and not pay me. So I took all the source code private. And I just kind of, like, spent like a month just trying to negotiate and get something figured out where I would finally get paid. Because, like, on my end, I have a team of 30 engineers. So I'm earning $50,000 a week on building this thing. And the only thing they brought to the table were a bunch of Photoshop JPEGs.
So, and absolutely valid. It's unfortunate that there are so many people being victim to this because this person is making this decision, but they have every fucking right to, because they're also being a victim in this. So who's the one at fault?
Z claims he wasn't blackmailing anyone. He had to hire a team to develop this whole thing, and he just wanted to be paid for the work they did. According to him, they negotiated a $1 million payday for this whole project. And from the second I heard that, I thought, oh, that's interesting, because Logan claims he spent $1 million on this whole thing. And this developer's saying he's owed $1 million on this project. Now, I didn't want to just take one person's word for it, so I later confirmed with another developer who worked for something called the Blockchain Center that he also hadn't been paid.
We've been paid nothing. I would have loved to have Zoo, but I don't have any.
So that's multiple sources working on the CryptoZoo team project who were not paid. Now, obviously, these are big accusations, which is why I wanted to confront Logan Paul on them. But unfortunately, we're not exactly on speaking terms. So I wondered, how could I speak to Logan without speaking to Logan? And that's when I found out there was someone who might know just as much about this whole story.
And I will explain everything one day with my manager, who's like in charge now.
Logan Paul's manager, a guy named Jeff Levin. He might be just what we need to settle this whole thing. So I gave him a call.
Hello?
Hey, Jeff. Hey, sorry to bother you. This is Steven with CoffeeZilla. I'm calling because I've heard reports that CryptoZoo hasn't paid their development.
So did he just get his number like randomly or something like that? Like, was that how it came? Like, how did he hunt down the manager? For some reason, whenever I hear people talking about managers, my immediate thought goes to, remember the Tanacon manager who like went around in the Segway?
Got your number from one of the development team, and they just wanted to. I just want to follow up on that.
I have no comment for it.
Okay, are you guys denying it, or are you saying it's not true?
Just no comment. I don't think that the information is true.
Okay, because they're saying $1 million hasn't been paid in development for CryptoZoo, and Logan Paul said publicly that it has been paid. So, I mean, it's pretty serious accusation, and obviously, I don't want to just run a story.
Again, this is why people like Logan Paul never take shit seriously, because they have management like that.
You guys have a whole side to your story here.
Your job as someone that is reporting news is to actually verify correct news.
He's trying to ask you for... What the fuck? He's trying to get your side and you have no comment. Dumbass?
Right, that's why I'm calling you.
I know, and that's legal grounds for that stuff. So I'm just telling you, legally, you have to report correct news with verifiable information.
Right, that's why I'm calling you. They've given me a lot of things. A lot of evidence.
Okay, well, okay. You can have the evidence you want, but I'm just letting you know, if you report anything on us, I appreciate your business. I appreciate you as a person. And I'm just telling you, from a legal standpoint, as we've been advised always, is if anybody reports fake news, that's where we won't,
Yeah, this call was...
So ultimately, he did end up getting sued, but it's so crazy. He's like, you've got to do correct news. Okay, that's why I'm calling you. Just know you've got to do correct news.
A mess. Jeff,
that's why people like Logan Paul are so fucking stupid, because they have management like that.
Manager seems to be implying that I'm not allowed to repeat allegations his own development team made, even though Logan can go on podcasts and publicly accuse those developers of stealing his code. Not only that, he's the one who refuses to provide any evidence, but seems to sort of be implying that maybe we'll sue you if you tell this to anyone, which he then denies doing when I ask him if that's what he's doing.
Told you I have no comment to it. Telling you once again, from a legal standpoint, you have to report truth. If you do not verify truths, then you're just allegations, and those then will be handled the way that we want to handle it.
Wait, so you're saying you refuse to give me proof that the allegations aren't true, but if I report on the allegations, you guys might sue?
No, I did not say that. I did not say that.
All right, I'm trying to read between the lines.
Don't read between the lines.
Okay.
Listen to the exact words that I'm saying.
Okay.
Listen to the exact words I'm saying.
I'm listening.
I have no comment on the situation.
Okay.
Your job legally is to report facts. If you don't report facts on the information you're given, it is illegal.
Yes, that was a real conversation with a real person. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I don't think it's a crime to say that multiple developers say they haven't been paid.
That is one of the craziest things I've ever fucking heard in my entire life. This makes me feel so much more bright.
And Logan's team refuses to provide any evidence or statements or wire transfers that they have. Which, by the way, seems incredibly ironic, given just how much Logan whines about not being paid by Floyd Mayweather.
Where's my money, bitch? Floyd never paid me for our fight. Who am I, the IRS?
Nope, but you might be the CryptoZoo dev team. Now, in all seriousness, I do want to acknowledge something which actually kind of looks bad a bit on the developers, because it turns out very few written contracts were actually done. So much of this were verbal deals like, oh, we'll take care of you. We'll give you $350K. We'll give you $1 million. We'll give you whatever. But then when it was time to actually sign the deals, there's just always delays.
What kind of promises were made to you? Verbal promises, basically. So verbal promises, and then we follow up with a physical paper agreement. But that's when communication broke down.
This is where I think the dev guys screwed up and led to this whole situation of okay, we're just going to take the code private until you pay us for our work. And to be clear, I'm not justifying not paying someone for what they did. I'm just playing devil's advocate and saying this could have all been avoided by just getting every detail in writing. And I think it's just a good general lesson. But if you're thinking that that's the $1 million mystery solved, well, no, because this still doesn't make sense. Why not just pay the dev team what you publicly said you kind of already paid them? Why not pay for a game that now isn't launched and now investors are so angry about? Why not pay when you already made millions from minting?
Is this still a thing that you can buy? Let me see. I mean, I wouldn't be fucking shocked. I wouldn't be shocked, but I highly doubt it. CryptoZoo World. What? Can you still buy it? There's a lot of exciting things happening in the world of CryptoZoo. You can still buy it? Or wait. Oh my god, wait. CoffeeZilla exposes Logan Paul's fraud. Logan Paul's response to CoffeeZilla. April 2024. Partial refund from Logan Paul. God. Partial refund is crazy.
The eggs on this game. Well, this is where things get even stranger, because right when I was ready to pin everything on Logan, and believe me, he is at fault, I was speaking to the Z developer, and I heard a name that I hadn't heard before.
I basically came in with Eddie, and Eddie promised me 5% of the tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
Wait a second. Who's Eddie? I thought that all of this was Logan Paul. I only put it together when the Blockchain Center guys also said a similar thing about their deal. They said they were promised $350K, and it was Ibanez. They say they had no communications with Logan. But we know they weren't talking about different people. They both dealt with the same guy. So the guy's name, I put it together, must be Eddie Ibanez. Turns out he was managing the developers. What's this random guy doing in Logan Paul's project? And who is he? Who is Eddie Ibanez?
Yes, hi, my name's Eddie Ibanez, lead developer here at CryptoZoo.
This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
Wait, what?
To continuously lie, lead people on, hype people up, to put more money in, all the while in the background, things are going down, things are hitting the fan, and you've left us holding the bag.
Logan, you stole 40 million in tokens from me. You are a scam artist. You are a liar, and you betrayed your own community. You aren't that guy. Logan replies, "Oh, trust me, bro. I am that guy."
What? What? What the fuck? Oh, I'm hooked. Bitch, I'm hooked. I might be into crypto shit now. I'm hooked. This was an insane video. I can't believe it took me this long to watch it. Bitch, no way. He got me hooked on crypto shit. What? That was crazy. Now, there's a part 2 and part 3, and we're going to watch them. So oh my God, I'm hooked. Okay, I'll see you next time. Okay, that was just for YouTube. We'll watch them. Anyway, I'm severely locked in with this Logan Paul crypto stuff. CoffeeZilla, God bless you. I am not only understand... I'm not only... Sorry, chat. I am not only understanding crypto for the first time, but I'm like obsessed and I need to know more. So we just watched episode 1 of this CoffeeZilla series that he made on Logan Paul's crypto scam. And there's a 3-part to it. And we're now going on to episode 2. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. All right, let's get into it.
In the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. CryptoZoo.co. It's a really fun game that makes you...
It's so stupid.
$1,000 in CryptoZoo.
I lost $40,000.
$500,000 Australian.
By the way, if you want to be a part of this, we are now streaming on Twitch again. The Adam McIntyre. Link down below.
It's just a picture. There's nothing I can do with it.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No.
We had an issue with CryptoZoo, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million.
He literally never paid me anything at all, ever. Eddie promised me 5% of the tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
Wait a second. Who's Eddie? I thought that all of this was Logan Paul. What's this random guy doing in Logan Paul's project? And who is he? Who is Eddie Ibanez?
God, he's good at what he does, isn't it? Addy, like an edible. I wish.
I decided to take a deep dive. I started by looking through all the news articles I could on Eddie, where I found out he graduated from MIT, and from there became a data scientist and cybersecurity expert, and used that technical background to win a Super Bowl for the Eagles. And there were videos on him too, which all painted him as brilliant and extremely accomplished.
Yes, hi, my name's Eddie Ibanez. I'm a father of 3, lead developer here at CryptoZoo.
What a crazy opening. Hi, my name is Eddie. I am a father of 3. Okay. All right. Happy for ye, I guess.
Teenager, he successfully hacked AOL from his bedroom. He continued to pursue computer science until attending MIT. He was then recruited.
Amazing teeth.
For a government agency in cybersecurity, developing software that reverse engineers the location of known government and terrorist threats.
You started with the federal government, and you started off really tracking criminals with burner phones and all.
Honestly, after this whole search, I felt more confused than ever.
Sorry, so much lip gloss. Wait, it's so crazy and scary that they're saying that he is like working with the government and stuff like this, and he is apparently involved in a huge Logan Paul crypto scam? We are well and truly fucked, y'all.
If Eddie's such an amazing guy,
Father of 3 representation. Finally!
why didn't he pay developers? And is he really the puppet master behind CryptoZoo? Or is it someone else? Honestly, I felt like at this point I needed a drink and I needed to ask for help.
Coffee, how's it going?
Not good.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I'm confused about this Eddie
Is this the Tesla bot? Robot thing?
Ibanez guy. He comes out of nowhere with this CryptoZoo story and everything about him I find...
Not this diva having production value.
What's the problem?
Well, everything's not great. Everything about this guy just seems too perfect. He's an MIT grad, he worked for the military. He even claims he won a Super Bowl. Why would that guy work for Logan Paul?
I don't know, but I can find out. You said it's...
I'm confused. How would he have won a Super Bowl if he didn't play it? I know this is me probably being very stupid. How would... Someone dumb it down, please. Help. Help. Dumb it down for me. Girl, I don't know. He was there in spirit, I guess. I don't know, girly. Wow. We are a useless bunch. Really? No one? No one? Silent. Oh, so now y'all are silent. Now y'all are silent.
His name is Eddie Ibanez.
I think he goes by Eduardo technically, but... Wait, what are you doing?
I'm just looking around. And done.
Well, what'd you find?
A few red flags, couple of misdemeanors. Ooh, a few court cases. I'll send him over. He got sued by his landlord for not paying rent, sued by his credit card company for not paying his bill.
You can skip that stuff. I just need whatever's relevant to
I'm obsessed with him including that in the video. It's so shady. Whenever it doesn't matter, he's like, oh, it doesn't matter, we'll move on. It's so funny that he included that. It just like shows us like things about him on a deeper level.
Well, that's basically it. Other than... Hold on. No, wait, I did find something. Look at this.
What's this?
It's from a paper in Philly. I barely picked it up. This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the whole Eddie Ibanez character. This guy Adam Robb investigated it. He says it's a lie.
I gotta find this guy. Send me his info. I got some calls to make.
Coffee.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We met up with Adam Robb, the reporter who's been investigating Eddie Ibanez for a while now. And I wanted to know, what did Adam think of him when they first met?
I wasn't quite sure what to make of him. Based on what I knew about him, he was a MIT...
Father of 3.
...worked for the CIA and the Defense Department, and I didn't want to waste his time. And it wasn't long after I sat down that I realized he was wasting my time.
Can you tell me about some of the...
Amazing teeth. Wow. Beautiful smile.
Eddie told you. Eddie has told me so many lies over the course of my 2 interviews with him. And the first lie he told me is probably the oldest lie that he's told so many people, which is that he's an orphan. I first realized Eddie might be lying to me when I went home the next day and Googled Eddie Ibanez's family. I found a video of Eddie and his wife making rice pudding on a Fox and Friends segment on Fox News. And Eddie's wife, Jackie, explained that she learned the recipe from Eddie's mother.
So in that picture, you've got Jackie Ibanez. You know her, along with her husband Eddie and her 2 little girls. You love rice pudding. Why is this a family recipe?
Okay, so Eddie's mom made this rice pudding once.
Wait, Eddie's mom? I thought Eddie was an orphan. Well, it turns out the only problem with that is that not only does his mom exist, she's alive and in his life. And it turns out it wasn't just Adam that heard this story.
What's his name? No, what's his name? Help! Yes, you know, what's it? Clinton Kane! OMG!
Either. He told it a lot.
Did you ever meet his mother or his parents?
I did meet his mother.
Did he ever tell you he was an orphan?
Yes.
How did he square that with you?
So that's why I'm so confused. He told me he was an orphan and all this stuff, but then I meet his mom.
He told me he was an orphan and then I met his mother, is quite the string of words. But as insane as these lies are, let's be real, it doesn't explain why CryptoZoo failed. But the next lies kind of do, because part of Eddie's story is also that he went to MIT, where he was recruited to the CIA. And
What is MIT? Michigan International. Michigan International. Oh my God, wait. It's really Michigan? Michigan Institute of Technology. OMG. Oh. Massachusetts Institute. Right. So a very hard school to get into. Hey, someone else said Michigan in the chat. It's not my fault. And then he worked allegedly for the CIA.
it's part of why he was so attractive as a lead developer, all the wild experiences that he had had. But it's just not true.
I emailed the MIT registrar's office and I asked if Eddie Ibanez attended the school, and they confirmed in absolute terms that he never attended MIT.
The whole orphan to MIT origin story.
Orphan to MIT pipeline. You know the one.
It wasn't true. And Eddie's whole backstory from here kind of falls apart as well. How could he have been recruited to a government?
This is the same thing with Clinton. I'm like, what do these people, like, what do they think when they're lying about stuff like this? When they're like fully making up their entire upbringing, I'm like, are they just like impulsive liars? Or like, what is it? Is it to sound more interesting than what you are? Is it to get more sympathy? Is it to get more experiences? Is it to like impulsive liars? That was funny, right?
Government agency out of MIT if he never went to MIT. If this is all seeming crazy to you, you might ask yourself, who would believe all this? And this is where Eddie shines. He kind of had a gift for getting people to believe in the lies he told, especially super rich and powerful people for some reason. Like take, for instance, this story, him winning the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. He managed to convince the owner of the New York Yankees that it was true, Barry Klarberg, who completely bought into it without question and told the same story later in a college.
I'm confused. He's saying that he was the one playing? Oh, hello.
College seminar.
Let's jump right into the work that you did for the Philadelphia Eagles, which led to a Super Bowl championship, led to you getting a Super Bowl ring. Yep. Tell us exactly what your job was to do for them and how it worked out.
No, sure thing. So first off, they
Oh my god, now that I know he's lying, it's the same as like the Clinton thing. Like when you know someone's lying and you're watching them actively lie, it makes me feel so uncomfortable and like really scared.
They said like, we don't know where to put you, but and then the sports science guy was the one guy. He's like, hey, I got some data. I'm interested. So so we took in his data, and then we found out that these players. What happens is it's like a player, as they run around, they get at certain fatigue levels. So if you ever played Street Fighter, the video game, there's like a red bar at the top, and every time you get hit, that red bar goes down until you die, KO, right? So then we're trying to figure out kind of what that is for a player, and on an injury level, right? There's injury part that gets knocked down and that gets KO'd.
This is insane. He convinced an owner of the Yankees that he won a Super Bowl.
I'm like, and he didn't think to like look into that? Really? Really? He didn't think about looking into that at all? Really?
By turning sports athletes into Street Fighter characters. And of course, none of it's true. The Philadelphia Eagles responded to a fact check saying he never worked for their player analysis team. Not only that, the Eagles also said that Eddie did try to do an in-person presentation in March of 2018, but that was already a month after the Eagles had already won the Super Bowl. And also, they didn't hire him because...
Why do people lie about things that could be so easily found out as well?
And yet, he's convinced people at the highest levels of sports that it is. And this is where we get back to CryptoZoo, of course, because it's how he got involved with that project. Remember Jeff Levin, Logan's manager, who we spoke to last time? Well, he also spoke to Adam Robb. And when he told him the reasons he liked Eddie, they sounded very familiar.
And did he tell you, I guess, kind of like about like working with the NFL and that kind of stuff and the whole, like his time in the CIA and all that?
He did. And it was interesting. It was like, this is wild, you know, like, that's pretty cool. But he's, once again, he's humble and he's not like ever bragging or anything like that.
Wait, but he is bragging. He literally made it all up. The CIA, NFL stories aren't true. How could that
I love this Logan Paul manager for how fucking stupid he is.
Not be bragging? But that's the impression Eddie gave off. But that's not all. Because Eddie didn't just use made-up stories to get in with the CryptoZoo team. He also used his other connections, his real millionaire and billionaire friends that he's managed to gain with all these fake stories, and some of them vouched for him. People like Chris Birch and Todd Morley.
And what was the thing that kind of like sold you on Eddie? Was it the fact that like Chris and Todd and people like that kind of like have backed him in the past and like...
I just think he's a down-to-earth, cool, humble guy.
Okay.
Who's been super successful. They're trying to do an agenda, and he's just kind of like, hey, look, I'm super smart in what I know, and I have amazing relationships through business that I've done.
It's incredible. I mean, how does this guy keep getting away with it? Honestly, it's baffling. But I've got to say, up till now, everyone's been fooled sort of fair and square on the same grounds. But I found out CryptoZoo did have an advantage that could have saved them all this trouble the whole time.
So a month before the launch of CryptoZoo, I got on the phone with Jeff Levin, Logan Paul's manager. And after he spoke fondly of Eddie and his work, I confronted him about some of Eddie's lies, including how he didn't work for the NFL. Jeff told me he doesn't know much about the NFL, but he knows about the business world. And Chris Birch and Todd Morley vouched for Eddie. And so Jeff and Logan were going to continue working with him. Have you ever...
That's so crazy. Like, you're being told that he's a liar and you're like, yeah, but we're still going to work with him, which just goes to show how little they care when it comes to this amount of money and stuff like that. Like, this is just... It doesn't matter to them. Yeah, the man bomb was crazy.
That anything Eddie said about himself is true.
We verified that it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely talked to people.
Okay.
And his friends and, you know, and people that he said he has relationships with, which we've confirmed them for sure.
Okay, because I had trouble with some of that, like, with the NFL, like, saying that, like, no, we've never worked with him, and that kind of thing. But you've had...
The NFL saying that?
Yeah.
Like who at the NFL?
The comms teams for the Eagles and the Dolphins. And then the people specifically that he named that he said he worked with.
Got it. I don't know necessarily the football stuff.
Okay.
You know, I don't have relationships in the football world.
Sure.
But you just said that you can trust him with everything. Oh my god, this call is insufferably embarrassing.
Business world, you know, we've done.
Who at the NFL? Girl, the NFL.
You know, talked to multiple people.
Like Todd and Chris, and they backed him.
Correct.
Wait a second. This means at minimum, Jeff knew about Eddie's background beforehand, or part of it, and still decided to go with him. This is just...
Which goes to show how little they care about their audience that they're willing to bring a fucking known liar on to deal with something this big. When you're getting confronted with one of the biggest parts of his story being a lie and you don't want to question whether anything else is a lie, then it says absolutely everything.
unbelievable, willful stupidity. And since Jeff is Logan's manager, I assume him and the team should have known about this as well. But still, they went forward with it even though they knew this stuff before launch. Now, I started to reach out for comments about this because obviously this is a huge deal. But when I did, I got a call from somebody new. Someone with a different perspective that I hadn't heard from.
Cody Tyler!
Jake, the Crypto King. He's been involved with some of Logan's projects in the past, like Pokemon, for example. He was called the Collectibles Guru a few years ago. Nowadays, he goes by Crypto King, and he's an advisor for the CryptoZoo project. So let's add him to the conspiracy board. But the question is, what did he have to say? I took a call with him, and he mostly wanted to talk off the record. But when I pressed him, he was willing to at least put one thing on the record for me. Right. One more thing about Eddie before we get off of him. We actually
the biggest reason it failed, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I don't want it to ever be thought that Logan's the reason it failed. He's not. Logan wasn't smart enough for what he tried to build. And then when it was built and was failing, didn't have the ability to correct it and to save face and reputation. It was more convenient to pull out than to be associated with a failing project that the dev rocked. So...
But it also, like, there's... The work that Logan was doing to it was minimal and allegedly not paying, which means that he's also a reason it's fucking failing. You can't jump ship on everything and blame everyone else.
That one sentence on the record.
Well, that is certainly emphatic. Crypto King says it's all Eddie's fault. And this is a nice, neat theory for us. You know, Eddie ruined everything because, yeah, Eddie is a liar. So it does seem to explain how these developers got screwed. But this theory doesn't fit all the facts because Eddie was kicked off the team months ago. And still, the game is not working, despite Logan claiming they were going to go back and fix all the problems.
Again, retroactively working to make these projects right, and it just takes time, bro. It just takes time. Development takes time. Working
takes time, bro.
Fix things, which
bro.
Ideal, but also this project will speak for itself. And now, you know, we're working.
Speak for itself, as in being dog shit. Oh my fucking god. Like, the level, again, of just not being able to take accountability in any way is unbelievable. And then when you are the sole person on the project and it's still fucking failing and you're still not able to say that there's problems with it is absolutely fucking crazy. And I just can't believe that, like, it really is. It really is just, these people have an inability to, and maybe they do, and they just know that it's easier to act dumb. Same thing with Mr. Beast.
Backwards to try to fix it.
This just hasn't happened. Even a year from launch, the game just doesn't exist. What's worse is the newest dev team who came on after Eddie just quit. And one of the reasons was they hadn't been paid for over a month. I know this because Logan's team is leakier than the Titanic and someone told me that, but we also have blockchain evidence. This is Jeff paying Block Ops, the company they hired out on July 19th. They were supposed to redo all this work. It's confirmed by their leader, Skip, talking
Also, people like Logan Paul make so much money that, like, why don't you just pay people? Like, at its core,
first monthly payment on that day. But after that, there's nothing until they quit on September 26th in a post called Our Departure from CryptoZoo. Now, I do have to say, it does look like they were eventually paid, but only a day after they quit. And this is just the same problem as before, slightly different. Nobody can pay these devs on time, and investors end up getting nothing. And so I can't buy into the idea that
again, at its core, we are forgetting that there are so many people, what was it, like $2.5 million or whatever it was, who have invested so much money, losing $500,000, $7,000, you know, all these fucking thousands of dollars, while Logan Paul plays fucking tennis with whose responsibility it is. It's a failing project.
Eddie's at fault for everything, because when Eddie was gone, they had a lot of the same problems. Now, it was only at the point that this dev team quit, Block Ops, that things really took a turn. Because if the Titanic was leaking before, now it was sinking, and everyone basically gave up.
A plane just flew into the Titanic.
No. All the investors who felt betrayed, who up to this point were holding on to hope, Now they felt defeated. They felt tricked by the CryptoZoo team who had fed them promise after promise, and they were sick of it.
He was never in the chat or anything, never apologized or told us anything.
Things didn't work out. Things didn't work out. We all get that. But to continuously lie,
I was about to say that it's the leading people on thing is such a big part of this, where they were continuously telling people he's about to promote it, he's about to promote it. And that clip from the previous episode where he's like, nah, I'm not, it's not that project that I'm promoting.
lead people on, hype people up to put more money in. All the while in the background, things are going down, things are hitting the fan, and you've left us holding the bag.
I know it was my decision, and I did my research, but I believe nobody has to lose money in this way.
And that's when a whistleblower stepped forward and decided enough was enough. They decided to leak me messages, team messages, from the CryptoZoo team from all the way back in the beginning when they thought of this idea, all the way up to launch. What? And seeing that, what? Changed everything. Because all of a sudden, I got a lot of new information. Remember how Jake, the Crypto King, said Eddie was the only problem? Well, a year ago, he was saying something very different. On the day of launch, he said this to the group. Logan, you stole 40 million in tokens from me. You are a scam artist. You are a liar, and you betrayed your own community. You aren't that guy. Logan replies, oh, Jake, trust me, bro. I am that guy.
You're gonna change the whole story. Yeah, I'll go on the record for you, and yes, I'm gonna show you the text message that say we can sell at these ascending market caps, and that it's not like I was trying to rug a project. It's like I put $250,000 into a project plus 6 months of time, and the founder never did anything he said he was going to do, and then hired a bunch of devs that didn't do what they were going to do. And every time I gave advice, the advice was I was told. So there was nothing illegal about that. Ethically, arguable. The rest that Logan did to me was ethically wrong and illegal.
What? Again! How has this man got me hooked on this crypto thing? Leaked text messages? You know I love that shit. I can't believe those text messages that were the cliffhanger of the part 1 were his friend. What the fuck? This is so crazy. And even just the passing responsibility and then being exposed for lying about that as well. Like, there is just no level of humility or humble or being able to just look at yourself. Fucking hell. Oh my God. Mama, a leaked message behind you. In a team of liars, who can you trust? What a beautiful sentence. All right, we'll leave it there for now, but we will watch episode 3, so I will love and leave y'all. Okay, we are going to be doing the final part in this CoffeeZilla investigating CryptoZoo, Logan Paul. I am immediately diving into this. I am so obsessed. Never once did I think I would actually be obsessed with a crypto investigative deep dive. This episode is the final one. Obviously, we know this leads to Logan Paul suing CoffeeZilla. So this is called Ending Logan Paul's Biggest Scam. Part 1 and part 2 have been insane. Can we just begin?
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project.
We've put hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. Personally, the whole team, $1 million plus. We had
$1 million, the team, plus.
An issue with CryptoZoo, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million.
He didn't just fled to Switzerland, he actually fled to Switzerland, is what he's saying.
5% tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
The Clinton Kane of it all.
It's reason it failed, in my opinion.
Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me.
It's crazy. It's not me. It's crazy how anyone who interviews Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, will always just agree with what they say. It's almost like the interview's like premeditated or something like that. It really is crazy how everyone will be like, yeah.
Like, I'm here to build.
For some reason, that reminded me of the Lord South Park. I'm Lord. Yeah.
Millions of dollars stolen and a cast of sleazy characters, but now it's time to put it all together. What is the truth? And who's to blame? We're going to start by going through leaked text messages of the
If there's one thing I love, is a leaked text message. This brings a genuine smile to my face. I love the mess of a leaked text message. Yes.
Team to understand all of their motivation. Then
I love something I'm not supposed to see.
Who sold what? And finally, we'll confront some of the people responsible. But before we can do any of that, we have to start in March of 2021, 6 months before the token even launched. Our 4 suspects, Logan, Crypto King, Eddie, and Jeff, are in a group chat discussing CryptoZoo, which starts as a copy of something else. Quote, I like imitating crypto kitties, Jake the Crypto King says. Logan replies, I agree. And initially, it wasn't called CryptoZoo at all. It was called Crypto Pets, and they were going to sell a Pets token. And pretty early on, it became clear this was all about money, how they were going to sell this thing to investors. In fact, Crypto King said he thought it was worth at least $20 million in only 6 months, saying the range is insane. $20 to $210 million. It's beautiful wherever we land.
They're just banking on the audience supporting them, which is really sad. They are banking on people wanting to support them.
Eddie jumped in at this point and talked about how he could sell the project.
Why is this literally Taddy Westbrook by sister, but for straight people?
As an investment to a friend, Matt Higgins, saying, quote, he has to spend that $350 million somewhere. Why not us? And Logan says, I love that idea. Crypto King, I'm in. And of course, you have Jeff saying, let's go. So you can see right there, they wanted to sell this game before it had even launched. Now later, Eddie amends the list of investors and says, quote,
which is showing that they're just doing this as a money grab.
Will be Gary V, Todd Morley, James Altucher, Ryan Kavanaugh, and others confirmed on my end.
So this is the liar, Eddie.
They had $100 million of investment interest. Now, I actually went to some of these investors and asked if this was true, and the one person who responded denied it, Ryan Kavanaugh. Quote, nope, not even a little bit. So this looks like it could be yet another lie from Eddie Ibanez, but either way, it looks like there was more issues than just finding investors because the team wanted to pre-sell tokens, and not everyone was sure it would be legal. Jake the Crypto King mentions that, quote, if we have a pre-sale...
Dramageddon for the finance bros. That's so funny.
It opens us up to SEC issues. And Jeff agrees and says, don't want to do anything that brings the SEC eyeballs. Now, not everyone wanted to be so cautious, though. Logan argues everyone does pre-sale with coins. Eddie agrees. He says, you absolutely can do it. I have the SEC down. Private.
He got the SEC down.
And pre-sale. And honestly, it was quite the dilemma for this team who wanted money. You know, do a pre-sale, make millions.
CryptoGeddon, I love that.
Potential legal issues. Don't do it, you make...
So this is history, and by sister is herstory.
Plus money. So Crypto King comes up with a...
Guys, we're so chronically online. We all need to be institutionalized.
No pre-sale. We can still trade them in the liquidity pool. And this is the start of a new disaster, which takes a bit of explaining. Now, just so we're clear, a pre-sale is where you sell investors coins, usually at a discount, before you've launched. And then when you launch, you give them those coins. Now, like I said, the team didn't want to do that.
Hold on, I've understood everything up until this point that I need to also understand this.
In the liquidity pool. And this is the start of a new disaster, which takes a bit of explaining. Now, just so we're clear, a pre-sale is where you sell investors coins, usually at a discount, before you've launched. And then when you launch, you give them those coins. Now, like I said, the team didn't want to do that. So what they did instead was they bought the tokens on the open market right after launch. But they tried to get clever with it because they didn't actually announce that they were launching this coin at all. They stealth launched it on June 11th and didn't announce this token through Logan until August 18th, meaning they had all that time to silently buy up as much of the supply at a steep discount as they wanted. And the idea here was that doing this, the team could get these tokens extremely cheaply, which is kind of like a pre-sale, but, you know, without all...
And therefore, the value is going to go up when Logan Paul...
the SEC troubles.
Pump and...
He makes this clear on June 7th when he says, quote, launch of the liquidity pool is where huge money will be made because you get in cheaper. And then says, we, the team, begin buying out the liquidity pool. Once the team has exhausted funds for the liquidity pool buying, we send the contract address to friends, family, investors who want to be able to get in. So obviously the plan is we buy first, then we give it to our close friends and family, and then maybe the public eventually, right? And even the day before, Crypto King reminds everyone, quote, Zoo Day is tomorrow. I highly recommend everyone get a few $100 to a few $1,000 in Zoo when it goes live. It will likely 10 to 1,000x. So that was their plan.
These people are evil.
They were going to do this stealth launch and hopefully get tokens cheaply the same way, but without all the legal troubles. Or at least that was the plan. Because on stealth launch day, this is where things first started to go wrong for the team. At first, everything seemed to go normal. The team sat in a circle and literally bought it out as planned. But the next day, Crypto King says something odd. Quote, a bot is playing with our token. Kind of cool to watch them work. But he doesn't mention who this bot is. And he also says the asshole finished selling, but doesn't mention who that is. Now, Jeff, Logan's manager, replies upset. He says, how do we prevent someone doing what they just did again? We went from a $130 million to $26 million market cap in 2 hours. It's not cool to watch. Logan jumps in. Yeah, wait, how did that happen? And he also says, what asshole? How did anyone get this token except for us and none of us sold? And I think actually this is incredibly suspicious because...
So also, this is just showing that Logan Paul has a lot of knowledge whenever it comes to crypto. So whenever he acts dumb or uninvolved, we need to remember that he is very much so involved.
The implication of what Logan's saying is, hey, we tried to scheme this really well. We tried to all buy this without letting anyone know. How did anyone else figure out we were buying it, right? And this is where a fight ensues that's going to become really interesting. Crypto King deflects the question by saying, my buyer pushed it back up to $40 million. And Logan says, no, bro, F your buyer. Explain to me what just happened and how there were 30 token holders. And Jake tries to explain that this was just traders and bots happening to find the token. But Logan says only 5 of us knew about it. Jake says, well, many people...
He's fuming because his plans are getting fucked up.
...volume and new tokens. And to some extent, he's kind of right. But Logan replies, cap. He doesn't believe it. Quote, I can't be the only one who thinks that's too incredibly convenient. Like someone was tipped off. And look, no one's more critical of Logan than me. But as I'm reading these texts, I was kind of like agreeing. Like, yeah, it does seem too nonchalant when somebody's ruining your secret plot. You know what I mean? Because Crypto King was acting very strange. He says, we created $40 million out of thin air. This is a success. Logan replies, this nonchalance worries me. F 40 million. It was at 120 million, which again, it's all about the money with these guys. But truth be told, I did agree that Crypto King's attitude seemed strange in these texts. I mean, he's not wrong that bots are a thing. Traders are a thing. But it sounded like he didn't want anyone to look into it. So, naturally, I looked into it. And what I found surprised me.
Love this fucking diva.
But there's also unusual human activity during this time. So I tracked the 5 biggest buyers of this Zoo coin. And lo and behold, this is what I found. Logan was one of the biggest buyers, which is what you'd expect. But he wasn't the biggest. In fact, 2 of the biggest wallets seem to be associated with Crypto King himself. And here's where I paused. I said, wait a second. Why did this guy buy more Zoo tokens than Logan when this is mostly Logan's project? I thought Crypto King was a small part of this team. And so to get more info on this, I actually got access to an internal meeting note from the day of June 11th.
How is he getting this shit?
Which they called Zoo Day. And in it, we find actually some interesting information. We see that 5 founders bought in. They apparently were, quote, trading in circles until each person maxed out. But on the list of buyers and how much they spent are only 4 people, when we know 5 people bought. We have Danny, Logan's assistant, for 20K, Logan Paul for 100K, Jeff at 100K.
Oh my god, he's literally getting his assistants in on this as well. It's so fucking gross.
And Eddie at 100K, but Crypto King is nowhere to be found. And yet, on the blockchain, I have him putting in $200,000 worth. And this number, by the way, seemingly is confirmed in a conversation I had with Crypto King, where he said, my 200K investment. And the reason this is important is because it does imply that something shady was going on the day of the stealth launch. Because Crypto King had a relatively small role in this whole project. He was the advisor, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like you can see from the internal meeting notes, they have a breakdown of who's getting what in terms of founder tokens. And like Logan Paul's getting 51%, Eddie's getting 30%, Jeff's getting 10%. Jake's only getting 5% of tokens, but he has the most of these like stealth launch tokens, which makes no sense. And it got me thinking that maybe what explains this suspicious behavior around like, oh, don't worry about who was buying at the time of the launch. Maybe that's explained because perhaps no one knew that he was buying up large parts of the token supply.
The divas are fucking fighting each other. OMG. These straight men get down.
Maybe he was buying it to sell later. Now, of course, that's speculation. So that's why I confronted Crypto King on all of this. But before we get to that call, let's address the elephant in the room. Logan didn't accuse...
Oh, I thought he was going to talk about one of the crypto things, because isn't that what they do? Animals? Or sorry, the elephant would be mixed with a fucking panda or something.
Being a scam. It was the other way around. Crypto King told Logan Paul he was a scammer. And the question is, why? Well, to answer that, we have to go from June, the stealth launch date.
And he did it at my CryptoZoo.
The official launch date of CryptoZoo.
September 1st, CryptoZoo.co.
Now, the day of the launch was...
It's crazy to, like, witness him. Even my mic is freezing. This room is obnoxiously cold. Can we do something about this? It's just me that lives here. That's actually really crazy to think about. I live alone. It really is just me. It's crazy, like, witnessing him on the launch day or running up to the launch day talk about how exciting it is, and you know that there's so much, we know now there's so much going on in the back end.
Was a bit strange because you might think, well, they already have a token, right? But the first thing they did was actually create a new Zoo token with a different code, but the same name. And they actually airdropped all the holders of the first Zoo token with an identical amount of those coins on the second Zoo token. So you might be wondering, why did they do that? Well, maybe it's to change the smart contract, but maybe it's because of what they did do. They blacklisted some of the holders. In other words, they didn't airdrop to everyone, including Jake the Crypto King. They excluded his wallets so it couldn't get these Zoo coins. Jake texts the group about this the next day, saying, quote, the Zoo team made a major error this weekend. They chose not to communicate, mint a new token, and airdrop it to whatever wallets they determined fit. This decision came from Eddie and Logan, and I had no part in it. 11,000.
Sorry, just know that behind the scenes, there are so many people that have lost so much money because of these dipshits.
250 wallets before the airdrop, under 11,000 after. They chose to blacklist and ban.
Not them going, you can't sit with us. The fact you managed to make like this straight guy thing gay with that quote, I love it. I need to watch Mean Girls. I might watch Mean Girls tonight. What the hell? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I will. Oh, okay, okay.
For 200 wallets.
Not sugar bear hair. Wait.
No idea. But he continues, quote, as a founder like Logan, Jeff, Eddie, and Danny, I had purchased a large quantity of tokens. 5+ of my wallets had been blacklisted from the original team's buys. Now, I don't know why he had 5+ wallets there, but okay. He says 80+ billion Zoo tokens were confiscated from me to date without any communication. So, wow. That's why Crypto King accused Logan of stealing from him or scamming. It's because he was frozen out of a lot of his wallets. And then we get to the text you guys all know. He says, Logan, you stole $40 million. You're a scammer. You're a con artist, all that stuff. You betrayed your community. The reality is you aren't that guy. And Logan responds, Oh, Jake, trust me, bro. I am that guy. Q in the arms of an angel. And look, I mean, what do we make of this? Well, I don't know. I can't root for either of these guys because it sounds like Logan stabbed him in the back, but it sounds like Crypto King may have stabbed him in the back in the first place, right? Because it does appear like he bought tokens that maybe everyone didn't know about. So I'm really not a fan of anyone in this situation. And by the way, this whole thing was structured so misleadingly from the beginning. I have to talk to you a bit about it because you might think that these tokens were the only tokens they had, but it's not even true. In the distribution section of Zoo's white paper, they say there's 2 trillion tokens, and a quarter of that are allocated to development, marketing, and founders. Those aren't even the tokens we're talking about right now.
This makes me so sad that people that genuinely were like, oh, I'm supporting Logan Paul are not aware of all of these conversations and shit going on behind the scenes. You mean nothing to these people. Chloe, have a good night.
They claim that those tokens were locked up for 6 months, and then afterwards, 10% was unlocked every month. And if that's true, there would be no reason for these funds to be blacklisted, right? Why would you blacklist something that would be locked up? And the answer is because, well, the founders had more than one set of tokens. Not only did they supposedly have these founder tokens that were locked up and couldn't be sold, these stealth launch tokens were different from that. It's like a whole different thing. And the tokens that they bought, that all of these guys bought, they could sell at basically any time because they weren't locked up, which is a massive problem. And this fact was explicitly laid out in their meeting notes with only one rule. They say, quote, no selling until $200 million market cap and don't impact the market more than 3%.
This is so sad. And then you have all these people who are trying to support this person that they believe in. Again, all jokes aside in them choosing to believe Logan Paul. But they're the ones getting fucked over, and they're just a little chess piece in this. It's crazy.
And not impact the market more than 10% in a day. And by the way, this is basically conspiracy to manipulate a market. You know, they're literally having insider rules for how to sell. But we're gonna look past that, right? Because these rules eventually kind of changed. A text from Logan's manager, Jeff Levin, came to the group chat, Zoo Founders, saying, guys, new and absolute rules. No one is to sell or transfer any Zoo. Logan's gonna make the call when we can make moves. And Logan replies, your tokens do not leave your wallet. This is a game. Now, that all sounds well and good. Don't sell your tokens, but the reality was, I mean, they're just kind of trusting each other because these tokens that they're talking about, they're unlocked. They're not locked up, and they could sell it at any time. And I guess the question on my mind is that why Crypto King's tokens were blacklisted? Because they thought he would sell? Or maybe it's just the fact they found out he bought and they didn't know about all those tokens. It's honestly hard to say without knowing more evidence. And this is where we're going to jump into the blockchain. Now, I've tracked the wallets of the entire team and identified the largest seller of Zoo in the team. And it wasn't Jeff. It wasn't Danny. It wasn't even Logan. It was Crypto King. Crypto King sold, by my calculations, millions of dollars. And I know what you're thinking, how's that possible, right? I thought his tokens were blacklisted the day of the official launch. How could he sell that much? Well, the answer is that not all of his tokens were blacklisted. He had even more tokens behind the scenes. And what's worse, the CryptoZoo team actually gave him back a lot of his blacklisted tokens, which I guess you can see as a good thing or a bad thing because he then turned around and sold those tokens, right? And from my blockchain analysis across his blacklisted tokens he got back and the tokens that he had squirreled away the whole time, he ended up making $6 million. He did this by sending out tokens from these larger wallets to dozens of smaller wallets, selling it, and then sending the money to cash out wallets. So I used those final wallets.
Meanwhile, this is on the back of the YouTube audience supporting him, supporting Logan. Oh, God.
Calculate the amount he made. Now, I know, look, it's a lot to accuse someone of selling $6 million in a project that doesn't even work. It's a giant scam. So I wanted to give him a chance to defend himself. So I got on a call with Crypto King. And here's what he said when I finally revealed that I knew he had sold.
It's gonna change this whole
funny story. Yeah, I'll go on the record for you, and yes, I'm going to show you the text message that say we can sell at these ascending market caps, and literally, I'm 100%. It sounds like
the divas are angry.
your biggest issue with me is that I sold, and if that's your biggest issue with me, that's the truth.
Wow, that is a big admission. Selling tokens for a project that you're an advisor on when the project has never been delivered. Although Crypto King insists that it wasn't $6 million. And
that's just the craziest takeaway here. Selling on a product that hasn't been fulfilled. And there's people waiting for it to be fulfilled. But you've already cashed out.
He wasn't trying to rug a project. In fact, really, he might be the one who got screwed over in all of this.
Like, I didn't sell $6 million worth. That's going to be other wallets, but that's probably not going to be able to be me being able to be proven, except for them saying, can you send BNB to all these different wallets for me? Which that I'll be able to show you that I was giving BNB to the whole team. I'll also be able to show you that I was a 5% holder of the Zoo tokens that I was promised to be given over the 3-month period, was never given. I can also show you that I was frozen out and was never given the 15 billion tokens back that I paid for in cash. So
Okay.
I'll show you all of those things on the record, and then you can also say that I did sell, which is also true.
Yep.
But as long as it's accompanied with he was a founder that was supposed to be given 5% of the project and was never given the token or paid, worked for almost a year on the project, as long as that goes in with it, then at least that tells my side of the story so people understand that it's not like I was trying to rug a project. It's like I put $250,000 into a project plus 6 months of time, and the founder never did anything he said he was going to do, and then hired a bunch of devs that didn't do what they were going to do. And every time I gave advice, the advice was I was told to fuck off. So it can be that story, or it can be he sold all this amount and he got in early. Well, yeah, that's like 1% of it, though.
Incredible. He sounds like he views himself as the victim, or at least like he got screwed too, which just has to win the gold medal for me for mental gymnastics, because, he literally had put $200,000 into this, and he says he made millions of dollars. Even if you take him at his word that he didn't make the full $6 million, he admits to me later that it might be a pretty close guess. He tells me via text, quote, "I don't care if you tell people I sold a few million and leave it at that." Well, okay, $6 million, a few $1 million, it's millions of dollars, right? Millions of dollars when you only put in $200,000 into a project that's never been delivered, doesn't work, scammed people out of their money. How is he saying he's the one who's in the wrong?
Just the craziest level of being able to talk in circles, no humbleness, no humility. Like, again, like what CoffeeZilla is saying, at his core, he put like $250 in. He's saying that he made millions on this, and the product was never delivered. Therefore, if anything, he gained so much.
Well, in his view, what he did was not wrong. It might have been arguably unethical, but it wasn't illegal. And what Logan did, well, that was illegal.
You can say the timing was bad and it was inappropriate to sell, but the reality is I bought tokens open market and sold them open market. So there was nothing illegal about that. Ethically,
about that.
The rest that Logan did to me was ethically wrong and illegal.
Now, what do I think of all this finger pointing? Well, I think it's pretty wild to try to make yourself look like the lesser of two evils when you made millions of dollars and investors lost millions. I just do. Now, at the same time, I want to be fair to Crypto King. He's not the only one who sold here. But I also have to say, not everyone from the founders did sell. For example, Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never sold. Neither did Logan Paul, which was a huge surprise. All their wallets that I tracked, held on to their tokens, which is good, and to their credit for a game that doesn't work. But you know who did sell? Eddie Ibanez, the guy who didn't pay the initial devs, the supposed...
That fucking liar! Oh my god! Oh my god. Fuck, dude.
MIT orphan? Yeah. From what I could see, his initial wallet got a ton of Zoo, sent it to a bunch of smaller wallets, and then sold off, kind of like Crypto King. And for my calculations, he made about $1.7 million. Now, I have to tell you that like Jake, I tried to confront him and give him the opportunity to defend himself, but he never replied to my emails or my phone calls, and we're just gonna have to leave it there. But we're not done with the money just yet, because we still need to talk about the eggs. Remember, we talked about how they profited from ZooCoin, but they also made millions from eggs. According to their own internal meeting notes, they plan to make about $3 million selling these eggs for 0.1 ETH apiece. And that's not far from what I calculated they actually did make, which was about $2.5 million. In the meeting notes, they say they're going to clear expenses and then do payouts. But pay out who? They don't say. And these expenses are referencing an earlier note suggesting Eddie and Logan had both spent $300,000 each, which I'll say is not $1 million. But okay, we'll give it to them, right? So they got paid back their $600,000, but where does the rest of the money go? Well, on the Ethereum side, there's one payout for $364,000 to one wallet.
It's just such an insane amount of money to comprehend being thrown around.
Addresses, so we don't know who exactly that is, but clearly someone on the team made a lot of money from these NFT egg sales that do not work. And on the Binance Smart Chain side, where they also made money selling eggs, the zoo that was spent was supposed to be set aside for 50% to be burned, which they did, but the other 50% was supposed to be allocated for wildlife charities and CryptoZoo development. Now, neither seems to have happened because all the money is in a wallet that the team still controls, so there are open questions about, where that money is going to go and where the Ethereum money went. Did it go to Jake? Did it go to Logan? Did it go to Jeff? Did it go to Eddie? We don't know. But what I know for sure is that no one was innocent, although there are certainly shades of guilt you can argue about, because, of course, not everyone did sell. You could look at that as the most important thing. Logan Paul didn't sell. Jeff, Logan's manager, didn't sell. But does that make them innocent? Well, I don't think so, because they never built a game they promised people. Logan Paul specifically got millions of dollars spent on this game on the promise of the technology that he never built.
And again,
and he never addressed the
can't stress enough, there are so many people on the line who've spent money on this. Like, they're the ones who've been done wrong. They're the ones who've been done wrong.
Failure, except to blame his developers who weren't paid. And you could say he promised to work backwards to fix it, but then never did. But at the same time, it's clearly not just Logan's fault either, because there are major team issues, right? You've got Eddie selling millions of dollars of Zoo and then allegedly not paying developers. You've got Jeff, who was warned about Eddie, who kept him on the team anyways, and then after they fired Eddie, seems to also have failed to pay developers on time. And then you've got Crypto King himself, who sold the most, but claims he was the guy who was scammed, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's just like Avengers Assemble for the worst possible team you can imagine to build a crypto game. And so, unsurprisingly, it turns out a lot of these guys backstabbed each other. And so, finding a way to wrap this up was difficult because it's hard to assign exact proportions of blame. Because if you focus on any one person, you kind of miss why this project failed. CryptoZoo, at the end of the day, did not fail because the price went too low. CryptoZoo failed because they never built a functioning game that they promised. Really, the number one problem, even bigger than people selling millions of dollars of tokens, was that they never paid the developers on time, as boring as that is. And as a result, the investors not only got rugged for millions of dollars, which is a problem, but they just didn't get the core thing they had bought from the beginning, which was not a crypto project, but something different.
I'm excited to launch my game.
You keep using and you just did it again, you keep using a word there, game. You're not using like a project. It's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
It's a really fun game.
Scam in all of this. Yes, it's a huge problem. People stole millions of dollars. But it's a symptom of the larger issue, which is people didn't actually care about the game or this, whatever you want to call it. They just cared about the money. And this is ultimately what happens when you have an influencer LARPing as a businessman. It's what happens when you have a liar LARPing as a developer. And it's what happens when you have a shady crypto guru LARPing as a crypto king.
Gag it.
It's a mess. And in my personal opinion, a fraud as well. And now that this thing blew up in their faces, these four seem to be dodging accountability faster than SBF dodges calls with me. Because I have reached out to everyone involved. I've tried to get all of their statements on things. So far, no one has taken accountability or offered to refund the victims at all. They're all hiding, pretending these victims don't even exist. But they do exist. And throughout my investigations, they've been the heartbeat of this whole thing. So I decided to close this investigations in a bit of a unique way. Rather than me deciding who's to blame or me deciding what you should think, I want to give them the last word.
Everyone's to blame. Logan, in the sense of his poor management, is his project. He still made these promises to people.
I think everyone it is to blame, including Logan Paul, of course, because he was the one in charge of this, and he was responsible for all of this mess.
Everybody has a big part and a massive, massive cross to bear.
Each one of them scammed the project in their own way, and then off to the sunset they went.
It was his job to check the team, to make sure that everyone is working together, to make sure that he is giving the funds of the people that put it into his project under his name to people that he actually trusts. So in my opinion, if the team failed to perform, that's Logan Paul to blame.
The community is destroyed. People is angry. They just want their money back. They just want their normal lives back.
Reimburse those loyal fans that they have, or try to rebuild the project, actually deliver on the project.
Like, that's such a good point as well. It's like, if you're not going to refund, which apparently he partially refunds, we'll get to that eventually, but it's like, try to fix the project, or try to rebuild the project, or try to work on that. Like, there's ways around this if you're not fucking lazy.
For those who are still holding their eggs, like I am, or for those holding the Zoo coins, so maybe they could just deliver what they promised, and that would give some redemption to this fiasco.
He's not said a word. That's as bad, or almost as bad, as taking the money. It's the not coming out and just being a man about it.
At least we deserve to know what was happening behind the scenes while we were waiting for almost a year and a half. The fact that we're hearing this information, not from Logan Paul, but from pretty much an investigator, it really says a lot.
What did this loss mean to me? It meant a lot. Not just personally, because I lost quite a lot of money. My kid and also my wife were invested. It was like telling a kid that Santa doesn't exist or something like that, because she really believed in all that game. She really believed in Logan Paul. Kids look up to that kind of people. So
well, that's true.
It was some kind of broken dream.
My mum was invested. My sister was also invested. So, I mean, my daughter even had a couple of the eggs and animals, which the loss for them hurt them.
Clearly, I'm on a completely different side of the internet. And thank God.
Because obviously it's just not nice to see.
For somebody to win, somebody has to lose. That's a gamble you take, whether you get into crypto or not. I got in knowing that I could lose, which is fine. That's on me. But I thought if I lost something, it would be because I sold at the wrong time, or the game didn't earn as much as I thought it would, and therefore my things weren't as valuable. But you never go into it thinking it's not something that they're going to just sell out from underneath you, because they could make so much more if they actually delivered on what they said, even if they delivered on close to what they said. And that's the thing, is you don't think they're going to rug you because there was so much money in a game wallet.
Ultimately, at the end, the way I see it is it was fraud. Logan could have put out the red flags, told people to stop investing more into it, because people were investing into this project until the very last minute, where the ship was still just sinking down the ocean, and people were still putting their cash into it.
If I was on a call with Logan Paul, I would ask him, where did his redemption arc go? I think he was on such a good streak going about his YouTube career and boxing as well. And it's sad to see that because of money, once again, we have degraded down to stealing from his viewers.
What would I say to Logan Paul and his team if I could? Well, actually, I could, because I have an NFT from other project that gives me the right to see Logan Paul, to meet and greet with him. And I will actually use that right to tell him this story again, show him this video in front of me, and see how he reacts when he sees that my family, my whole family and my kid are affected with this situation, because I think that's not human.
You would think that Logan would have told his fellow followers, his loyal fans, that, hey guys, back off. red flag, there's turbulence in the water. No, not a single word, nothing whatsoever.
To market products at children and knowing full well that his team is made up of people that he believes are shady characters, yeah, he still goes on Forbes interviews.
Again, not only that, oh my god, just look how much he's promoting it. But again, it's just like they've been told that the people they're working with are liars or lying about things, and they don't care because they don't care about the viewer. It literally is about that pump and dump, mama. I just can't believe people get away with this and then people still support it. I'm like, how low does the viewer have standards for themselves?
And says the game is great for kids. It's gonna be.
Kids are gonna care.
Most the kids, their kids love it.
Our developers' kids, all of them, cannot stop playing the game.
I think that is inhumane.
What the fuck?
Side of it's been marketed.
Knowing what's happened since, knowing that all of the people that were there from the beginning, like all of the guys that I'd speak to on a daily basis,
that is
just got nothing now. Ideally, I just want to say
literally what game? It's just like fucking lying. All right, this is, first of all, I never believed in the Logan Paul redemption arc to begin with. But it's just that kids thing is crazy. The kids love playing the game. What game? What fucking game? What game? Oh my god. I've been live for so long that my mom has just texted me goodnight. Have I been live since 8 p.m.? Oh my god, I have. But I've been having fun. Anyways, good night, mom. This is crazy, and to bring kids into it and be like, kids love it, and market it towards kids, knowing a huge chunk of your audience is kids, and the other half are crypto bros, so basically pulling everyone in is so fucking disgusting. I just have to ask the viewer, if you're a fan of Logan Paul and watching this, first of all, hello, I guess. What is it that keeps you watching that type of content where you are so disrespected as a viewer? I would love to know. Signed off down below. My god, yeah, can we stop promoting gambling to children? Literally. Okay, so, first of all, do you love the Hannah Montana hat? Hello? Hannah Montana shirt. I'm wearing my PJs. I love this little outfit. Very, very, very cozy. We have a little St. Paddy's Day hat on our little Adam behind here. I hope you're all doing very well. Thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting the Twitch streams. I'm going to be streaming again and from tomorrow. The reason I just wanted to film these videos in advance was just to let you know that the code was, I need to get this up because once it hits midnight, that code is gone. By the way, it's applying for everyone, every ticket. Okay, we have been covering this Logan Paul CoffeeZilla situation, and it has, for some reason, CoffeeZilla is a saint and a genius, because he was able to get me, this little twink here, to understand crypto. That is something I never thought would be possible. I never, ever, ever thought that I would be able to understand crypto. But for some reason, the way that he describes it and the way he talks about it, I get it. I understand it. And we did this on stream. We went through the 3 videos that he did coming for Logan Paul's crypto scams, allegedly. And it was messy, and people really enjoyed it. And I was like, oh my god, the twinks and dolls loved it as well. But anyways, there are more to get to. So obviously, CoffeeZilla is, oh god, that screenshot. CoffeeZilla is being sued by Logan Paul, and we have a video which ultimately we've been like making our way to, which we're gonna get to eventually. But before that, we have these 3 videos. Logan Paul apologized to me, Logan Paul's scam isn't over, and Logan Paul's refund. So we're gonna watch all of those, and then we are going to watch the Logan Paul sued me. So we're gonna do a jam-packed video of reacting to 3 of these in one. If you're here for it, I'm here for it. Let's get into it. So Logan Paul apologized to me, which is crazy, because if that's true, why is he suing him? I can't wait to jump into this. These straight men, I don't understand them.
It's finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
CoffeeZilla, your slimiest. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, more like an internet criminal.
Oop.
Ah! What? Oh, so I think I just got clickbaited.
Wrong video. That was the first response. He actually apologized in another response.
It's like a little gnat. It's like a little annoying gnat. It bothers you. The defamation lawsuit. That is happening because this is wrong. This is wrong.
Hold on, wait a second. That's not it either. Turns out it's actually on his secondary channel. That's why I couldn't.
Wait, what?
Find it. It's entitled Thank You Coffeezilla. It's the third response from Logan Paul, and it's a pretty big change in Logan's attitude so far. So let's see what he has to say to us.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was going to hire me. But in all seriousness, this video does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For one, Logan apologizes to me.
I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series.
Wait, this is really interesting then. I can't wait to get to the lawsuit video, because if he's saying that the defamation lawsuit's happening and then retracted that, it ultimately did eventually happen, which obviously we're going to get to.
Was that of fire, an ego.
Not only that, Logan also pledges a $1.3 million refund plan for people who bought his NFTs.
I am personally committing 1,000 ETH to this, which is about $1.3 million.
In addition to that, he also promises to finish CryptoZoo, which was left abandoned.
And then step 3.
So yeah, I can't believe there's people still waiting to hatch those damn eggs to get their fucking panda elephant shite. That only makes sense if you watch the first 3 videos.
Obviously, finish and deliver the game as outlined in the white paper.
Now, I'll be honest, this is a big change in tone, and honestly, a lot of this is good news. It's great that victims are going to get something back. Logan seems to acknowledge his continuous lapse in judgment. He's not suing me, which is also cool. And Frank,
in the sense that if you kick every Logan Paul out of this country, who is going to be suing coffeezilla? In the sense that, oh, that's not, in the sense that,
this new response is just way better than his last 2. I think we can all acknowledge that, while also acknowledging that it's not really a perfect response either. There are still major problems here. Like, for example, many of the victims just have been ignored in this response. A lot of accusations have gone unanswered, and worse, Logan still seems to be playing the victim a lot. So in this video, I'm gonna do my best to give Logan credit where credit is absolutely due, while also sharing moments where I think this.
So wait, I'm gonna predict what happens, because the next video is called Logan Paul's scam isn't over, and then Logan Paul's refund. So I guess this initial video is gonna be like, okay, Logan apologized kinda, and he's gonna give refunds, therefore he's not that bad. But then there was, I think Logan did like a partial refund or something. We're gonna find out about it. So then I think he probably called that out, and then Logan probably sued him then, and the defamation lawsuit shall continue. God.
His apology fell flat. And let me start with a positive. For example, I think if you were an outsider who is not affected by this scam and you wanted a reason to love Logan Paul again, I think
this is a great point as well. And it's this Mr. Beast facade, which is, if you like Mr. Beast, you'll find a reason to defend him. If you don't like Mr. Beast, you'll find a reason to not like him.
Nails it. I mean, he's giving back some of the money, he's apologizing. So if you're a card-carrying member of the Low Gang, you can rest easy here. Logan says he's sorry, he says he's making things right, and I think that's the point of this video, is to speak to his core audience, to tell them he didn't scam anyone, and for what it's worth, I think Logan succeeds here. The problem is, I don't think I or the CryptoZoo holders were who Logan was really addressing here. And this is where the response falls more flat, because he doesn't add it.
Well, because he probably doesn't, he doesn't care about any of the people that invested in it. He cares about the audience who he needs to support him. We see this with YouTubers when they get canceled. They make apology videos for the audience. One of the main fall downs of apology videos is that they're focusing too much on the audience rather than the people they've fucking done wrong.
Real victims of CryptoZoo, which I think they're rightfully angry about. And I wanted to spend some time talking about that because, again, they've been the heartbeat of this whole story, and they feel very differently about this response than Logan's core audience does. They don't feel like it's enough, and I want to talk about why. Starting with the $1.3 million repayment plan, because obviously this is the...
I'm guessing as well that the lawsuit is probably Logan being like, fuck, I tried to do a little bit of damage control and he's still exposing me. And then that defamation lawsuit came out again, honey.
Strongest part of Logan's entire response, actually opening up his wallet. And I don't want to minimize that in this video. I just do want to put it in context because $1.3 million is a lot of money. Unfortunately, the scam was much bigger than $1.3 million. So the fact is, most victims are not going to be made whole by this plan. Just in Zoo coins alone, blockchain evidence shows $7.7 million was stolen by Logan's team, depending on who you believe. And this refund does nothing for those victims. It doesn't even apply to the holder of Zoo coins at all. You get nothing if you bought this in-game currency. This refund only applies to current egg holders. So they can cash out that NFT for the initial mint price in crypto, which matters sort of because crypto has crashed a lot. So even though people spent $2.5 million on these eggs, in order to refund all these holders at mint price, it now only costs $1.3 million in today's money, which again is nice, but doesn't do enough because the Zoo coins were most of this scam. I mean, that's where most of the money was spent. It wasn't just on the NFTs. It was on this in-game currency, which Logan seems to have no intention of refunding. And his response for why is pretty bad. He responds to somebody who lost $80,000 who told him, "I hope this isn't just doing what you have to do technically to not get sued." Logan replies with a screenshot of his white paper and later explains to another member of the Discord, "I believe there has been a misconception here. As outlined in the white paper, Zoo was created to support CryptoZoo and was not intended to be an investment vehicle. When you sold or bought is not my decision."
Oh my god, I can't believe the people that he tried to bring on to support him, they then supported him and he's like, "Oh, well, it's not my fault you chose to do XYZ." Even though he was the one that was getting people to join and supporting him because he's Logan Paul. And then he's like, "Oh, that's not my fault if you decided to, do something. That's on you." Oh my god, this is so fucked up.
And look, to be fair to him, there was a misconception that Zoo was an investment vehicle, but it's a misconception that he created. I mean, he's the one who said CryptoZoo was a fun game that earned you money.
That kids love to play.
Money was that your NFTs earned you Zoo tokens. Things that were supposed to have value. That was the whole point of the game. So to suggest that these coins weren't advertised as valuable or an investment vehicle is insane, especially since Logan's own team had rules for selling based strictly on the value of said investment vehicle. Quote, "Rules for selling, no selling until a $200 million market cap." So I think it's fair to say if Logan's own team were buying Zoo coins early, waiting for them to go up,
I hope I never get sent an op like CoffeeZilla. He is good.
Value to a certain level and then selling them, that sounds like an investment vehicle, albeit a very stupid one. So this explanation definitely doesn't hold water, and Logan obviously just doesn't want to be on the hook for Zoo coins. Instead, he just kind of wants to refund the much smaller part of the NFTs. What makes this even worse is that this refund doesn't even apply to everyone who bought these NFTs. Because some of these people sold their NFTs at a deep loss thinking that CryptoZoo was over, that it was abandoned, and...
Which, again, is not the fault of any of the people when they are being severely misled and left in the dark by Logan Paul and his team.
There's actually a way you could have tracked this whole thing, or Logan could have, and, found a way to repay all the people who lost money on eggs. But instead, this refund only applies to current holders, meaning nobody who sold during the year and a half this project was abandoned gets anything back, which is a large percentage of the actual victims, and this is pretty bad. This was brought to Logan's attention by one of the people in the Discord. Joao says, quote, "Logan Paul, what will happen to the people who sold everything at a loss when the project appeared to be, quote, abandoned? Will everyone who minted be able to get that refund, or just the current owners?" Now, in reply to this...
So basically, if you sell, you lose. Common investing knowledge. They were investing in a fucking game that it was abandoned. This is like so fucking slimy and so exploitative and so fucking gross and disgusting. And the fact that the only people that would get refunds are the ones that basically their money was just sitting there. They didn't hatch anything. They didn't sell it. They didn't lose. They didn't, that sucks, that expecting people to just hang on to the money.
Someone in the Discord said, "If you sell, you lose common investing knowledge." And Logan replies, seeming to agree with this idea, which is just kind of a terrible perspective for Logan to have when he seems to be saying that he wants to refund these people. And he's the reason a lot of these people left. And this is where Logan's new apology starts to ring more hollow. It's in all of the follow-ups after the response video, because I don't know if he can help himself from betraying how he really feels about this, because in another Discord exchange, Logan says, please do not put any more money into CryptoZoo, which, by the way, is quite reasonable to say. But then somebody follows up and says, guys, can someone explain what he said with not investing? But rather than replying, oh, guys, I just meant like I don't want anyone else losing money, or, you know, I don't want anyone else recklessly gambling, Logan replies instead, quote,
Oh my God. I will no longer be the scapegoat for anyone's financial decisions. This all started with him enticing people to support him and be a part of something that was his. To just do the people that support you like that? How, like, again, hate to bring it to this place. Could you imagine if a woman ever did this? Ran off the internet. But this is so normal and expected, I guess, of these men.
Decisions, which is a wild response for someone who's claiming to refund people, because it implies that he thinks he's the victim here. And this is just insane to say as the face of this project, which got everyone involved, because I think it betrays how he feels about this situation. He doesn't seem to see anything wrong with advertising a game that will make you money, it never delivering, millions of dollars being stolen by criminals he hired. And then when all of those people want their money back, he feels like he's the scapegoat. Like, oh, these guys shouldn't have believed me when I advertised to them a fun game that will make you money. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, Logan had a simple job to do. All he had to do was just come out, apologize, get as much money back for the victims as possible. But he himself can't help but play the victim here. In fact, I have a third example of how Logan might really feel.
And I know how probably frustrating this is for all of us to hear. Could you imagine being someone who invested in this, lost all that money, and he's the one being victim?
Because Logan tweeted right before this response.
The Matrix is real. Pray you never become the target. This is literally what Jeffree Star tweets whenever he gets canceled. He's like, the Illuminati got me. Bitch! 200,000 likes. I need every single person that liked this tweet to have their internet access revoked.
He says, quote, the Matrix is real. Pray you never become its target. Now, I guess he's trying to channel Andrew Tate here unsuccessfully, basically saying like, I'm getting attacked, not because I did anything wrong or scammed anyone. I'm just too much of a truth teller. I'm just an enemy of the system. That's why I must be getting attacked. But if that's the case, we then have to wonder, did the Matrix force you to apologize? Did it force you to hand back 1.3 million? I just think comments like this go so far to undercut his apology, because it's very clear that instead of actually like caring about the victims, he feels like he's a victim. I mean, he's saying like, oh, pray you never become its target. Who's the Matrix though, Logan? Like, is it your fans who got robbed? Who are the
who supported you
coming after you? I know it's not me. I know you're not saying I'm the Matrix here in my $10 million studio, because after all, you're thanking me. You're thanking the Matrix. Like, what is this response? It's so childish the way he speaks.
I also can't believe he would make that video, thank you CoffeeZilla, after coming for CoffeeZilla, and then make the decision to come after him yet again after that.
About this stuff. And again, this isn't to be dismissive of Logan's actions if he follows through, because there is a lot of good that 1.3 million can do. And you know what? If he goes back and he finishes the game, that's also good. But it's just so frustrating.
It's crazy to be like, it'd be good if you go back and finish the game that people have put 2.5 million into. Maybe the game should have been fixed in the first place. Maybe there shouldn't be a maybe you should go back and fix it. It should be you should fucking fix it.
When the good that Logan...
Does anyone get away with this?
He's doing the bare minimum of at the last possible second with motivations that seem to be in the proper context, to say it lightly, irreparably tainted by self-interest. Now, I'm not going to address Logan's other two response videos, which are mostly like attacking me, because Logan sort of walked those back now. He's apologized. He said he was going to delete them. I think he deleted one of them. The other one's still up. I don't know if the impulsive episode's going to go down. Either way, it's just much less interesting now that he says he doesn't like mean it anymore. He's not going to sue. So I don't feel the need to publicly defend myself.
And we know that he does end up suing.
All the wild stuff that was wrong in those first two responses. I'll put the video live on my Patreon, but I didn't want to release it at the time because I thought there was a better chance at getting a good ending for the victims here if I was a bit more diplomatic with Logan at this critical juncture when he was deciding whether he was going to give money back or not. I don't know if I succeeded in moving the needle, but that was certainly my intention. Either way, now that Logan has responded with his plan, and I've given my perspective on how much I think it's rooted in, self-interest versus a genuine, attempt to help out the victims, I think this is about as much as I'm going to be able to contribute to this situation. I mean, I do think it's incredible that even $1.3 million came of this, while I also can acknowledge that it's not nearly enough for the real victims of this. I'll follow up in the future to make sure that he actually gives that money away. But for now, I think most of the CryptoZoo victims, if they're still hungry for justice, are going to have to take it up with Logan in ways that are different than I can do on YouTube here. Which, by the way, I think some of them are. In fact, I just saw a lawyer on YouTube, Attorney Tom. He's going to start the legal process going after Logan using stuff like the arbitration clause in their terms of service. So I just wanted to say, if you're a victim of CryptoZoo, you can check out that video, which I'll link to you if you want, or consult.
I'm just so fascinated to see what was the turning point for Logan suing again.
This is certainly not the end for them because they didn't get a full refund, and I'm sure they'll be seeking one. But even though it's not the end for them, it is the end for me for now. This is the end.
For now, because obviously it wasn't.
I wanted to say and give a huge heartfelt thank you to everyone who viewed this and supported me throughout this. It's been insane, the level of support when Logan was threatening us, and I do not take it lightly. There is an alternate universe where if that hadn't happened, Logan would feel emboldened to sue me and probably not give much back to the victims.
Well, in the sense that... Okay, let's go on to the next one. So, we have 2 more videos before ultimately we find out that he was being sued. So, this is interesting. Logan Paul's scam isn't over.
6 months ago, I investigated CryptoZoo, a scam created by Logan Paul and a team of criminals, and a dude named Jeff, which ultimately resulted in millions of dollars being stolen from fans. I was threatened with a lawsuit for exposing it, but ultimately, Logan Paul decided to thank me instead for his public undressing and announced a $1.8 million refund to the victims. Now, I thought that was a great ending to the story, but I also said this: I'll follow up in the future to make sure that he actually gives that money away, and that's why we're here today. It's been 6 months, so here's a follow-up. Logan Paul has not paid back his victims. He hasn't talked about it since he first announced he was going to pay them back, and what's worst of all, he doesn't seem to have a plan in place to refund anyone. How do I know that? Well, because I've been asking Logan for that plan to refund people the entire time behind the scenes in messages like these. Quote, "Hey Logan, following up on the zoo refunds, when should people expect those? It's been about a month." And then a month later, following up again. People are wondering what's going on. Almost been 2 months. Very frustrating for victims to get promises and then see nothing and get zero communication. And then later, "Hey Logan, following up for a third time, it's been over 5 months since you promised to refund the victims of CryptoZoo over $3 million. I meant to say $1.8 million there. The price of crypto changed a lot, so what this buyback was going to be was constantly changing. I just misspoke there. Either way, my point was this, quote, "You haven't contacted any of them, nor explained why you haven't done what you said you'd do. Meanwhile, you got public credit for promising to do this." And all of this, Logan didn't respond to, which is odd since he was such a fan of me reaching out to him personally. Instead of making things public.
Maybe we could have talked about this if you had reached out to me personally.
Ooh, I love when people use their own words against them. Again, this is the thing. These people hone in on, well, you don't care because you did it publicly. But then when you reach out to them, they don't want to have the conversation. It's not a priority for them. Damn, he's such... Oh my God, he is the worst. Truly is the worst.
Not my manager, Jeff, who is not me, Steven.
Well, I did reach out to you, and I got no response. In fact, the only response I got came on my 4th attempt to reach Logan, but this one came from his criminal defense lawyers. A guy named Jeffrey Neiman emailed me after my 4th attempt saying, "Steven, see inserted on behalf of Logan Paul." Now, to be honest, I had no idea who Logan Paul was until I researched the lawyer and learned that he, quote, "regularly defends individuals and corporations in white-collar criminal litigations." And that's when I realized, oh, that Logan Paul. Why didn't you just say you defended alleged white-collar criminals? Would have saved me a Google search. So I opened up the letter and it read, "We represent Logan Paul. Mr. Paul has informed us of your outreach about the status of the CryptoZoo buybacks. Mr. Paul remains committed to this process. We are working with Mr. Paul to evaluate the best way to achieve this goal."
But Logan, I thought you wanted to handle this privately one-on-one in messages.
"In the meantime, please direct to our attention any further inquiries to Mr. Paul. Thank you for your patience and understanding." Now, that might seem like a good step in the right direction to you. At least we got a response on behalf of Logan. But when I read their response carefully, I realized things were actually worse than I thought. Because two things are absent from this statement. One, a timeline for refunds, and two, a plan for refunds. I mean, you have this abominable statement which says, "We are working with Mr. Paul to evaluate the best way to achieve this."
Logan, of course.
So you're still at the whiteboard then? Guys, this is a statement you say when you have no plan or you're stalling, right?
I have concepts of a plan.
The best options. I mean, that's where Logan was back in January. He was evaluating. Am I supposed to believe 6 months later, you guys haven't figured this out? You've gathered all the boys in the office, brainstorming every single day. How do we refund people? And you don't know? I mean, listen, he had more of a plan, Logan did, back in January. I'm not even sure what there is to even still figure out, because way back then, January 16th, he said, "I've committed more than 1.8 million for those who do not want to wait for CryptoZoo to be completed. Players will be able to burn their base eggs and base animals for their mint price." I mean, there it is. That's the plan. Pay a blockchain dev to code that up and pay the victims their money. That's it. But we see absolutely no sign of that. And it's not for a lack of Logan having the cash. He's on a world tour for Prime right now, bragging about how much money his drink company is making.
In January of this year, we did 45 million.
Oh, only in January?
Yeah.
This is just what I don't understand. Like, from an audience member, what is it about a creator that flexes so much, but also is, like, engaging in scammy behavior? Like, what is it that makes you feel so identified with a YouTuber of that? Because I bet you're not like that. I bet most of those people are working paycheck to paycheck. Like, what is it about someone like that that is, like, enticing to you? If you're watching this video, and that is you, truly, I would love to know. Please comment down below, because I just think it's really stupid.
Wow, 45 million is a good month. Also, January happens to be the same month Logan promised those CryptoZoo refunds. So there's no good explanation for why Logan hasn't refunded his victims yet, because he had a plan back in January, he had the money, but there's even less of a good...
Can you imagine being one of the victims and the person who is saying they're going to do like 1.8 million, right, is bragging about making 45 million in 1 month? Like, he truly is the worst.
Explanation for why he hasn't explained himself for the delay to either me privately.
Also, that fucking Logan Paul statement is so stupid.
Waiting around for months with no word about the status of their promised refund. Now, eventually, I do believe Logan will address this. I think he has to. And when he does, I think he'll probably point to a lawsuit that he's in for the reason he couldn't speak. He had to be silent. Only he's tried this before, and it didn't make a lot of sense then either.
I had to rely on my team. I crumbled internally, and the advice was, while actual legal process was going on because of criminal investigation taking place that CoffeeZilla highlighted in his series, I had to stay silent. And for a year, I'm hounding Jeff. Hounding Jeff. How do we make this right?
All right, let's get this.
Hounding. But it's really funny because it's such a great excuse, isn't it? I can't speak legally. So convenient.
Right. Logan was dying to make CryptoZoo right the first time, but was legally required to be silent until a YouTuber talked about it? Did the judge magically unseal his lips when my video dropped? I'm confused. He's not prevented from explaining himself, and he's certainly not legally prevented from giving people their money back. Even if you want to argue the point.
If anything, that would help him.
Logan might look more guilty if he promises to pay victims. Well, sure, but he already did that, though. He said he felt so bad that he was going to refund $1.8 million to the affected people who invested. But actually delivering that promise doesn't add any layer of admission to that guilt. He already said he was responsible. At this point, refunding people is just doing what he said he was going to do from the beginning.
It's doing what's right, the Jeffree Star video.
Logan hasn't paid, if I had to guess, it's just because either he does not want to pay, he cannot be bothered to pay on time, or he's just stalling, all of which are unacceptable. Because let me remind you of his promise. Quote, I have committed more than $1.8 million for those who do not want to wait for CryptoZoo to be completed. That is what he said, and the people are tired of waiting, including me. After months of trying to work behind the scenes and ask questions behind the scenes privately to him, I'm just out of ideas, and I'm stuck trying to speak to Logan in the only language I believe he understands. Self-interest. Logan, if
Oof! Oof! Okay, let's do the final video. I'm gonna be right back, though, because I need to let the dogs out to pee. I can just hear them wanting to go out to pee. I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Let's get to this final video. Logan Paul's refund. Again, this is the final video before we get Logan Paul sued me, which I'm very intrigued to hear how that just came about. But anyways, let's get to this final video.
Logan Paul is refunding people he scammed if they promise to stop suing him for the vastly larger amount he may owe them.
What?
Logan Paul is refunding people he scammed if they promise to stop suing him for the vastly larger amount he may owe them.
Oh my... Is that even legal? I guess maybe technically, but what the fuck?
And honestly, I'm conflicted. Because on the one hand, victims getting money is always great. And
yeah, but they've waited so long that they've had to take initiative in their own hands. Oh my god.
Proud that our investigation led to some real-world consequences. But I can't pretend
this face card
fixed or fined for people who entrusted me with their story when that's just not true. So here's the real, more complicated story in 3 parts. The refund offer, the zoo tokens, the lawsuit, starting with the most important part. And if you get one thing from this story, this should be it. These are the estimated damages in CryptoZoo. $18.5 million, which comes from
how are these people able to get away with this?
From a combination.
And then how is this person gonna then sue someone who's brought it to the attention of the people and spoke up for the victim?
Of ZooCoin and NFT sales. And then this, much smaller percentage of that pie, is what Logan is actually offering to refund. On the
But he made $45 million in 1 month. He can afford that.
Though, that all of the people who spent the last year suing him...
By accepting these terms... Waiver of claims and release. You agree that you're waiving any actual or anticipated claims against Paul, which is so fucked up because he's using his power and these people needing any sort of money as him getting no consequences. Fucking hell.
For the larger damages, drop their case. Wow. So that's a refund of only 12% to drop 100% of the case that, as far as I can tell, Logan may be losing. Put in that light then, this refund starts to look less like a good faith attempt to make things right and more like a cynical bargaining chip to avoid getting in even more trouble. Wow. And a careful look at these refunds conditions show that Logan is even less serious of a person you may give him credit for. Logan is offering only a 1-month claim window for this refund, given a year after waiting, and hidden in this wall of text is the most shocking part, which is that he's not releasing the CryptoZoo game.
What? But I thought it was a fun game that even kids enjoy. Oh my god. He is...
At all. Which, I know we all kind of knew that, but is actually insane. Because that's the thing, to be clear, he's sold millions of dollars of NFTs for and tens of millions of dollars of in-game CryptoZoo tokens for. I knew he wasn't going to make it, right? We all get that. But I watched for 3 years as Logan's fans, and that's what these investors were. They were fans of Logan Paul. They spent 3 years begging this guy to make this game. And the entire time, he told them he was working on it. And I thought, even at my most pessimistic, that Logan would at least crap out some abomination that he described as a game that limped past our lowest collective expectations. But I was wrong. I mean, I wasn't wrong the first time he said I was wrong when he said he was going to still finish the game. I was wrong that he was going to do it at all.
But even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times, you've assumed that CryptoZoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline
Who are you? Who are you?
ends? Trust me, CryptoZoo is coming. I will make damn sure of it.
Oops, so much for making damn sure of it, because there's no game. This is what makes this such a massive con. This guy sold millions in NFTs, tens of millions of Zoo tokens, and he's not even going to release the thing he promised this whole time. This is why it's such a slap in the face. These investors spent 3 years waiting for a game. Not only that, 2 years waiting for an update, which he never gave, and then a year suing him. And after all of that, all he offers is a 12% refund, no game, 30 days to accept.
I had heard about this partial refund, but I didn't realize it was this bad. And again, it's just this giving a little bit of money to get out of a lot of consequences, and these people need their money back in some capacity. Therefore, he's probably not going to get sued. Well, this was in the past, so.
So look, Logan's already taking heat for making good on a promise that he made a year late, but that's not even true. He's not making good on this promise because it's not the same promise. Last year, what he promised was no strings attached buyback and you get a game. This year, it's please drop your lawsuit and you don't get a game, which is incredible to me that there are influencers out there like KSI parading this around like a win for Logan Paul, like he's some sort of hero for offering.
Well, now we know they were probably working on fucking Lunchly in their collaboration. Therefore, these people need each other to be getting out of scandals.
Half-baked settlement offer. KSI says, what will the haters say now? I don't know. How about where's the game? Where's the art? Where's the millions invested? Where's the motivation for this tweet? Oh, wait. KSI is a...
And then Lunchly as well.
Prime. So of course,
I forgot about Prime.
That makes KSI Logan's new biggest fan. But seeing as how Logan treats his biggest fans, don't say I didn't warn you. So that's part one, the refund. Now part two is the Zoo tokens. Remember, there were two parts to CryptoZoo, the Zoo tokens and Egg NFTs. Now, the tokens were the vast amount of damages that were actually caused, while the NFT sales were much lower. Logan conveniently wants to refund this much smaller part of his game, the NFTs, while pretending that these Zoo tokens were never a real part, they were just gambling. Now this was sort of less bad when the game was still gonna come out because, you know, it made some sense, maybe you'd still have these tokens, but now it makes no sense at all. From Logan's statement, this buyback is a way for me to make whole those who intended to play CryptoZoo. The buyback is not intended to compensate those who gambled on the crypto market and lost. So he's describing people who bought his in-game currency as gamblers. But that's confusing, because the whole point of these Zoo tokens was to buy the...
He also literally sold this game as even kids were loving it. But now you're saying that anyone who was supporting you, because that's literally what this stemmed from, right? Are gamblers. So all those kids are gamblers too, right? That enjoyed playing the game. That you said, you know, the game that doesn't exist, by the way.
According to him. So instead, he calls people gamblers, despite also saying, quote, Zoo token was created to support the CryptoZoo game and its players. It was, quote, not intended to be an investment vehicle. So how
Well, then we saw all those tweets or all those private texts that leaked where it was an investment thing. It was a money making.
Turn around and say people who bought this were gambling. If it's not an investment, how can you refund people who intended to play CryptoZoo if you don't refund people who bought the token that was, quote, created to support the CryptoZoo game? You can't. It makes no sense. And this is why I say this isn't even close to a full refund. And now that he's abandoning the game, what we actually have is millions of dollars of in-game currency Logan sold that he won't pay back. Which brings us to the final part of this story, the third part, the lawsuit. After telling all his fans that they were gamblers who lost, Logan has one final surprise. He says, quote, I have filed a lawsuit in federal court in Texas to hold these bad actors accountable, people who ruined CryptoZoo. But what
bad actors accountable? Oh my god, he's the victim in his eyes. I wonder if he genuinely believes this or he just wants to make money and intimidate people. God, he sucks.
What he doesn't tell you is that Texas lawsuit is something he's being sued in already. He's a defendant in the lawsuit that he links in his tweet. He's just cross-suing his co-defendants. Like, he's already being sued, and he's just re-suing the same guys who are already being sued. And who are these secret bad actors Logan's going to hold accountable anyways? Turns out it's his employees he hired, Eddie Ibanez and Crypto King, which all of us already knew because I investigated the story a year ago. But imagine my surprise when Logan Paul tries to rewrite my investigation to pretend he did all the work himself and uncovered the real scam of CryptoZoo while simultaneously trying to erase his part in it. He says, and I find this very funny because I spent a year on that story, quote, "This lawsuit is the result of an exhaustive investigation that included..."
Oh my God! No way. Oh my God, he's taking credit for the entire thing. Oh my God, so then I can't wait to see why he sues CoffeeZilla. Oh, after an exhaustive investigation.
Entirety of conversations. You'd be forgiven to think he was quoting my investigation. He's not. He copied it and tried to rewrite it to make himself look good. In this lawsuit, he says things like, "Hey guys, turns out Eddie Ibanez's entire backstory was a fabrication."
How do these people who have so much money hire the best people in the entire fucking industry when it comes to lawyers, and they're still terrible? They're some of the awful ones.
Including the MIT NFL story. Can you believe it? It's like, yeah, we know. And then he goes, "Yeah, well, you won't believe what I discovered. Crypto King secretly sold tokens." Yeah, we know. Logan just shamelessly rips off my work claim for claim without citing me. I mean, he says things like, Mr. Greenbaum would later admit that he made millions of dollars through his surreptitious sales of Zoo tokens. But
which was on a call with
was it perhaps when he investigated my video? Time and time again, this lawsuit copies my work, but is embarrassed to cite it. So they even have to say things like, based on public reports. What public report? Mr. Ibanez made approximately $1.7 million from selling Zoo tokens. I could swear I've heard that before. And for my calculations, he made about $1.7 million. Now look, I don't usually mind people using my work, but it's kind of a little strange that Logan is simultaneously trying to discredit my work, saying this lawsuit is not based on snippets of conversation taken out of context, a snipe at my investigation, while then stealth quoting it to pretend that they did any real legwork. And look, if you found that shameless, that he tries to steal my work and pass it off as his own investigation, this next part gets even worse. Because Logan's story this whole time has been that it's all other people's fault. You know, it's just bad actors. Everyone but him was bad. He was always well-intentioned. But his timeline contradicts him. According to his investigation, which is actually my investigation, in August and October of 2021, he learns that Jake Greenbaum and Eddie Ibanez are bad news, and he kicks them out of his team. So what does he do after that? He's gotten rid of the bad actors, can't blame them anymore, right? Does he make CryptoZoo? No. For a full year before I made my video, Logan Paul had full control over his project. He admits it in his own lawsuit, and he did nothing. He said nothing. So how does he avoid accountability now? Well, enter the whipping boy Jeff. That's right, manager Jeff is making one last appearance. Logan blames Jeff for screwing up September 2021 through 2022, but you know what he does?
Oh my God, anything to avoid a little bit of like accountability.
What he'll never mention, the real reason the project didn't get back on track is not because of Eddie, not because of Crypto King, but because Logan's own team stopped paying developers who are working on rebuilding the game. So those people stopped working on CryptoZoo.
Which, by the way, even though there are victims because of that, they're also being fucked over as well. Therefore, they're also incredibly valid. They're not being paid.
That's when I found it. The game was dead. It had been dead for months. And that's when I made a big stink out of it. Meaning, it was 100% within Logan's power to save this game. I'm not saying nobody else did bad things, but Logan ultimately had over a year to launch it, to make things right, and he didn't.
And again, throwing your manager under the bus and throwing these other bad actors under the bus, like CoffeeZilla said, is further highlighting how much control you had independently for a long time, yet you did fuck all with it.
For financial reasons. Not because someone backstabbed him. He just didn't want to spend the money it would take to make things right. And you know what? That is still true now. It is still 100% within Logan Paul's power as a near billionaire with Prime to make things right, fully right, with his fans who he scammed. And if he gave a full refund, we would all celebrate. Me foremost. But will he? Or will he try to dodge responsibility, cheap out, rip his fans off, and avoid accountability? I think it's...
Again, I just don't understand how people watch a creator who so desperately disrespects you.
The latter. So, those are the three main points. You're all caught up. To recap, part one, refunds. They're being used as a bargaining chip to drop a lawsuit, and so he never has to produce this game, which has been promised for 3 years, and he's sold tens of millions of dollars for. Part 2 is the Zoo tokens. He's pretending they're not for a game that they definitely were for to avoid refunding people, when in fact he admits they were created to support the game. Part 3 is the lawsuit, where he stole my investigation, tried to pass it off as his own, but just cuts out the part where he did everything wrong, and leaves out the entire year where he was solely in charge of the project. No bad actors. He could have fixed everything, but he didn't, because he's cheap and doesn't want to pay anybody. Anyway, I hope that catches you up with what's been going on, and I hope we as a community can have the nuance and complexity to hold in our minds two things at the same time as true. One, it's always good if victims get any money back, and we should celebrate that. However, number two is that doesn't mean we can't fight for 100% of what they deserve. And Logan Paul is not a hero for doing this or making things right. He's a serial scammer who's offering a minority refund as a last-ditch effort to save his wallet and his reputation.
Oof. Oof. I want to check the comments on this. So then the next video is Logan Paul sued me. 12% refund. 0 responsibility taken. No finished game. Must drop your case that seeks a full refund, yet sues co-defendants. Logan, so proud to announce that I'm delivering on my promise. Fucking hell. This is really, really, really crazy. Logan Paul filed a defamation suit over these videos. I cannot fucking wait to get into that video. Now, we're going to separate these 3 videos and then do that one, but I just can't believe, and I can't believe, like, people, like, really love their children loving creators like this. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that is really shocking to me as well. Like, there are parents out there that love their children looking up to these kind of people. And I guess they won't care unless they're affected. And we'll leave it there, and we'll go on and cover the lawsuit video. Again, we are in the last stages, last couple hours of Black Friday sale on all tickets on the tour. Use code DIVA. Second channel, link down below. I will see you all very soon, and I cannot wait to cover that video. I hope you're all doing very well, and goodbye. Okay, we are on the final episode of the CoffeeZilla Logan Paul situation, and this is the one that I have been waiting for. This one is about Logan Paul suing CoffeeZilla. Now, we have watched investigating Logan Paul's biggest scam, the biggest fraud in Logan Paul's scam, ending Logan Paul's biggest scam, very Shane Dawson these titles. Logan Paul apologized to me. Logan Paul's scam isn't over. Logan Paul's refund. And we're now on Logan Paul sued me. Now, this is only 3 months ago. I know I'm a little bit behind on all this, but I didn't know about the situation. And once I finally was able to understand crypto, God bless you, CoffeeZilla. Finally, someone was able to get through in my head about crypto. I have been so enthralled by this, and I am so on CoffeeZilla's side with this. And I know literally the majority of people are. Logan Paul sucks. I have been really, really, really enjoying diving into this because I think just it's so important to call these kind of people out, and CoffeeZilla does such a great job at explaining it, and these videos have been amazing, and I wanted to support him in any way, and I'm also just so intrigued. Now, in the previous videos, he talked about the fact that Logan Paul was threatening to sue him, but ultimately walked back on it, and actually, if anything, Logan Paul thanked CoffeeZilla for what he was doing, and even cited / stole CoffeeZilla's work in the lawsuit against other people. But now we have Logan Paul suing CoffeeZilla. I have not watched this video. I know it's been out for 3 months. I have not watched it. This is all news to me. I genuinely don't know how we went from, like, thanking CoffeeZilla to now being sued again. So let's just dive into it. I've been waiting for this one.
Logan Paul is suing me for CryptoZoo, only a year after he thanked me for it. Rather than pay back his victims fully, Logan would rather publicly humiliate himself in court
and spend that money suing someone
by accusing me of defaming him. He's hired
of course, a good old defamation lawsuit.
5 lawyers to sue me, which he hopes will stop me from exposing him again. You see, only hours before this lawsuit was filed, I had reached out to Logan Paul about a new investigation into one of his companies, which has just been accused by the Canadian government of being a multi-layered fraud in Canada. I obviously had questions, but before I was able to get answers, Logan's team of lawyers showed up to silence me. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to go through this lawsuit. I'm going to tell you how to support us if you want, because while I didn't think I'd need help, I was wrong. But before we get to my mistake, let's start with Logan's. This lawsuit is not about Logan Paul getting defamed. Instead, this is about him trying to dodge accountability, victims, and blame anyone but himself for his problems, especially me. This lawsuit says Logan Paul wants to hold me accountable for my actions.
Wait, he wants to hold CoffeeZilla responsible for Logan Paul fucking up? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god, these people just have an inability to look in the mirror at themselves, don't they?
What actions are those? Holding him accountable? It's ironic because his lawyers claim Logan has learned to believe in the importance of accountability. What? But accountability for who? Currently, Logan is fighting the victims of CryptoZoo in court, and now...
Also, accountability means trying to silence anyone who... Literally, Logan Paul thanked him!
Now he's fighting the journalist who exposed him in the first place. Personally, I believe Logan has learned nothing from this except how to silence people with the law. But I won't be silenced because Logan's lawsuit makes no sense. We're gonna go through it because from the beginning, there's problems. Logan's 5 lawyers tried to discredit me as a journalist. They paint me as someone who wanted money. They say I had a false and malicious narrative.
God, that's always the case, isn't it? To increase his viewership and income in the process. Instead of maybe the story needed to be told and that's the end of that. Like maybe that's that, right? Maybe increase in viewership and income comes in the process, but it's not the aim in which it's being done for, right?
But you know who doesn't believe that? You know who secretly praises me behind the scenes?
This journalist, YouTuber, crypto uncoverer guy named CoffeeZilla, who's incredible, by the way. A very thorough...
No! May God never send me an op like CoffeeZilla. Ooh, this is good. Oh, brittle. I can't wait to dive into this more. I mean, this video was 3 months ago. How deep in the trenches of this lawsuit are we in right now? Please let me know down below, and I will for sure be following it. Oh my God. Never once did I think I would be so enthralled and like caring so much about a crypto situation.
Good-hearted, smart guy. Did
that's not
a deep dive into this project that I attempted to make called CryptoZoo.
Wait, so for the thing that he's being sued over, even CryptoZoo, there is now verbal Logan Paul loving him, but even Logan Paul thanked him. Oh,
Logan Paul. He's the biggest enemy of Logan Paul's defamation case. Who knew? Because defamation requires actual malice and a reckless disregard for the truth. But he just admitted on camera that I am thorough and good-hearted. Maybe that's why he wanted to remove that video from the internet, according to the YouTuber who released it.
The only issue that was ever communicated was remove this crypto stuff, remove this CryptoZoo stuff. If CryptoZoo is in there, CoffeeZoo is in there, I'm not going to promote it.
Yeah, remove that CryptoZoo stuff, that CoffeeZilla. It look good when you compliment the guy you're trying to sue. Maybe that's why Logan isn't even suing me for my original investigation at all.
Oh my God! Oh my God, this is crazy!
Despite most of this lawsuit being a ridiculous fanfic about how I took Logan out of context.
Not fanfic.
Victim, that I withheld text.
Oh my God, they're fucking victimizing Logan Paul in this. I mean, of fucking course they are.
Logan isn't suing me for any of the original investigation though, because he knows he can't. Instead, at the end of the lawsuit, we find what my defamation really is. I'm being sued for 2 videos and 1 tweet where I advocated for refunds. For the victims. Yes, you heard me right. Logan Paul sued me after I tried to get his fans, the CryptoZoo investors, a full refund. Remember, there are 2 parts to CryptoZoo.
Damn. That makes sense where I was like, where's the jump? Yeah, in these videos, he was advocating. He said something along the lines of like, you know, I'm having to like stop my help here, but like if the victims want to take it another way that's not on YouTube, very much so insinuating a lawsuit. So that's where it's coming from. This is so fucking lame.
NFTs and the Zoo tokens, and Logan chose only to refund the NFTs, which is a minority of the losses, and I had a major problem with that. I told Logan this, I've stated over and over my opinion, that it is disappointing for someone as rich as Logan to not make things fully right, and instead only pay back a small part of the losses while fighting the rest of the victims in court. And it's those videos and tweet where—
That sentence is, we should not be normalizing, while he's fighting his victims in court. What are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Please don't let the bizarreness of this situation, like, take away from that sentence that we just heard.
I ask for refunds, which I'm being sued for. The first video in question is about Logan Paul not paying out refunds for 6 months. The second video was about Logan's partial refund, having a clause to make sure you couldn't sue him for the rest of your refund. And the tweet, I simply said,
I love this phenomenon of people suing people for covering things that they're doing that are bad. You know what I mean? Like, these people do bad things and then get called out for doing the bad things, and then they're like, wait, you're defaming me. No, you're the one that is doing that behavior, just so we're aware, right?
Logan's the type of guy to thank you for exposing a scam and block you when you remind him to pay up. I mean, yeah, now he's the type of guy to then sue you. Now, I'm sure Logan doesn't like it when I say things like Logan's victims or Logan's scam, but I have a question. If they're not Logan's victims, whose victims are they? Even Logan admits they are victims. He told me via text, just thought we had the same goal of helping victims instead of a divisive social media war. So he agrees people have been wronged by his game. You know, the thing that he said will earn you.
Not fucking game.
Really fun game that makes you money.
So how are these not Logan's victims? He, of course, would say it's his business partner's fault. But remember, Jake and Eddie have been out of the picture for years. And yet, CryptoZoo hasn't been released, despite...
Yeah, because in the previous video, we were told that Logan Paul was blaming the other two guys, Eddie and Jake, for it being fucked up. But there's been like over a year where Logan Paul has strictly been in control of it, and nothing's fucking happened, so he can't blame anyone there.
Constantly promising it, and of course, also threatening to sue me.
We're going to handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
By the time this comes out, it'll be done. The game's going to be made. You're going to have the opportunity to get your money back if you want.
I wonder if he believes his lies, or he's just that deranged.
Like this was a scam perpetrated by me.
Right. Logan wants to sue me and release a finished CryptoZoo game, but he's only done one of those. Since Logan can't blame his partners, Jake and Eddie, for this because they've been out of the picture, do you think he'll take accountability for not launching CryptoZoo? No. This time, he blames the government. He says releasing CryptoZoo has too many regulatory hurdles. Maybe they should have thought of that before multi-millions of dollars.
I was about to say, how does this come into it when people have like donated, like, or not donated, people have, you would think it's that, people have invested millions of dollars into this, and now you're saying, oh, there's like things to do with the government in which we can't do it. Oh, well then why in the first place? Right? Right.
Zoo tokens and eggs were sold. And now Logan would rather blame the government than take accountability.
Oh my God. He was blaming the fucking Matrix in the last one. The Matrix are coming and getting me.
Talking, Logan might rant about internet reporters having too much responsibility.
These internet journalists, internet investigative reporters have way too much responsibility on their hands that is being mismanaged and wielded in a...
I love private jet engine just to kind of show what we're dealing with.
It's funny to watch this guy whine about his problems, which you can barely hear over what sounds like a private jet. Which brings me to another problem Logan has. Part of any defamation damages and proving someone has harmed your reputation. But isn't Logan richer than ever with Prime? And did he have a reputation to harm? His lawsuit shows comments calling Logan a scammer, possibly to suggest he's been hurt by my videos, but you have to have a reputation to lose one. At the time of my reporting in question, Logan Paul was already accused of participating in multiple crypto pump and dump schemes. That article does not reference my work, so Logan had already had a reputation as a scammer.
Damn, this fucker's good. This fucker's good. OMG.
Before my investigation, at least if you believe their allegations. So this lawsuit from beginning to end is groundless, meritless, frivolous, and Logan knows that because behind the scenes, in clips he didn't want to get out, he's saying I'm thorough and good-hearted. But in public, he wants to sue me, silence me, and cost me money, because that's the one department where we both know he's got me beat. We might have facts, we might even have evidence, but he's got all the money and the lawyers. And this is where I have to get to my one embarrassing mistake in all of this. See, my defense against rich people like Logan Paul is media insurance, for frivolous lawsuits. So when I was sued, I immediately called my insurance company to file a claim, so I wouldn't have to pay for it. But they told me they're not going to pay. They're trying to get out of covering us, using lawyers in fine print. It's a long story that I will be explaining on my second channel because insurance underwriting is very boring. But suffice to say, I got Dylan Danished. I may have even gotten scammed. I'm not quite sure. For now, the bottom line is we have to fight Logan with our personal funds, which means I need to ask for your support. If you want to help and are able to help, there are 2 ways to contribute to our fight against Logan Paul. 1, you can join our Patreon, which supports the channel. Or you can buy exclusive merch at coffeezilla.store, where we just released the CoffeeZilla defense drop. That's right, life hands you lawsuits, you get rejected by your insurance, make merch. So here's the deal. These shirts will be available for pre-order for only the next 14 days, and 100% of profits we make from selling them will go to this lawsuit. If for some weird reason there's money left over,
so fucking annoying that he had to even be put in this place in the first place, but
it will be dedicated to future legal costs for this channel. I just want to let you know they're available, and it's a cool way to support the lawsuit while also getting something in return. I didn't want to just set up a GoFundMe. So if you want to do that, just know pre-orders take a few weeks to get done because we make them after you order. And remember, you have 14 days. And you can get that at coffeezilla.store. I'll link that below. It's coffeezilla.store. All right, now we're going to shift gears and talk about the final part of this lawsuit. Why did Logan Paul sue me now? It's been over a year since he apologized and thanked me.
Thank you, CoffeeZilla. I am very grateful for your work,
God, these fucking clips are such a gotcha.
and I mean that. Thank you, bro.
He means that.
It might seem strange, but I've got some fun facts for you that may or may not be related. Did you know 6 days before the lawsuit, I had featured Logan Paul in a teaser for a video? Did you know 21 hours before the lawsuit, I had texted Logan for comment? Did you know I told him he had 24 hours to respond, and Logan sued me 3 hours before the deadline? Yep, that's right. Logan's lawyers then threatened me in that lawsuit email that if I report on this new story, Logan might hold me accountable.
Because they know that he fucking clocks them. He knows, like, maybe don't do fucked up shit. Maybe don't do fucking scammy behavior. Maybe don't do grimy behavior. If you got fucking handle people looking into it. Oh, I'm so annoyed I wasn't able to buy a shirt.
Logan's definition of accountability seems to mean he'll sue me.
I was about to say, what does accountability look like to him?
But to shut me up, to threaten me, using Logan's wealth and a federal court system without anti-slap to send a message. Do not tell that story. Of course, I don't believe that's the only reason I was sued. Clearly, Logan wanted to sue me for a while, but I believe this new investigation played a role in pulling the trigger. Maybe Logan's team will deny this. Maybe they'll say it's coincidence they sued 3 hours before a deadline. Maybe it's coincidence I announced a story about Logan 6 days before, and maybe it's coincidence that Logan's lawyers threatened me about this new story while suing me for the last story that I hadn't discussed in 6 months. But I don't think so. Either way, when someone threatens new reporting in a lawsuit about old reporting, the effect is the same. So, what was this new story? Well, it's partly about a Canadian law enforcement investigation, and it's partly—
Love the diva still telling the story—
about something I told Logan to help him. Yes, believe it or not, I tried to help Logan Paul. To explain, we need to go back to when CryptoZoo first got exposed. Logan said he was going to sue me, but got backlash. So he called me to apologize. He said he was wrong and wanted to make things right. I made it clear, refunds are the app—
100%, man. We're on the same page.
He agreed. 100%, man. We're on the same page. But we weren't. Logan now doesn't use the word refund. He calls this a buyback. But at the time, I need you to understand, I thought Logan was going to announce a full refund. So I began trying to help him. And dare I say, I was even nice to the guy. You can see that I tried to offer people who might be able to trace blockchain damages to refund people. And in the same spirit, I made Logan aware of potential problems at a different company he co-owned, called Liquid Marketplace.
On a platform that I co-founded called Liquid Marketplace, it allows co-ownership of top-tier assets.
Oh my fucking god, I can't believe there's more.
As a collective can co-own it together.
This was a fractionalized—
People, like, having platforms is so dangerous because they just keep going. They throw it all to the wall.
Platform where Logan sold things like roughly half of a $5 million Pokemon card. The idea was you could buy tokens that represented partial ownership in rare collectibles. That video, by the way, got
I just don't understand this. I just don't understand Like, why do I want to own an NFT? Why do I want to own a fucking photo when I can just screenshot it? I don't care if original owner. Why do I want to own a piece of Logan Paul's fucking necklace Pokemon card? I don't care. Like, why do people care? I understand collecting things. You know what? I love collecting things, but I don't collect meaningless shit like that. Well, actually, I do collect meaningless shit, but it's just not as expensive as that. And I actually have physical copies. Remember that? Physical copies?
Million views.
Pisses me off.
People bought into this platform. The problem was I had heard trouble.
Why are people
company? And I was trying to verify if the claims were true. So I had gone to the CEO, Ryan Bahadouri, to ask him questions, but he kept dodging meetings. And I don't mean he refused meeting with me. I mean, we would set up meetings and then he did not show up. So I was troubled. And I brought this up to Logan. I figured if he's gonna make one company right, make them all right. Otherwise, it might come back to bite him. I mean, can you imagine the disaster if another one of Logan Paul's co-founded companies was discovered to have scammed his fans? Hypothetically, that would be a very bad look. So I'm thinking, while he refunds CryptoZoo, Logan can push the CEO to talk with me, and I can figure out the truth. Maybe Logan can fix it if there's something wrong. And you can see Logan responds to me. He says, gonna push Ryan to talk to you. Again, appreciate.
Don't understand how Logan can successfully win a defamation suit, though, because, again, it's like, I don't care how much money you have. It's like malice and, you know, damages. But we have Logan, like, actively loving CoffeeZilla's dedication.
Now, I don't hear back from Ryan or Logan about this, so after a while, I follow up again. I say, let me know if Ryan plans on talking. A lot of nasty stories still out there about Liquid Marketplace, embezzlement, etc., and he's dodged meeting me already once. Now, obviously, the most shocking part of this is the word embezzlement. I need to make it clear. This is not an accusation. I am not accusing Logan Paul or Liquid Marketplace of wrongdoing. I brought it up in our texts because it is my job to investigate unverified claims. That's the whole point of me wanting to meet with the CEO, but I was stonewalled. Logan never replied, despite me reminding him again via email 5 months later that I wanted to talk to Ryan about, quote, embezzlement and, quote, potential fraud. Once again, not accusing anyone of wrongdoing, I'm simply doing my job at the time to chase down rumors and unverified claims. Without concrete proof, I would have never talked about any of this. But on June 19th, 2024, things changed because the Ontario Securities Commission revealed a Liquid Marketplace investigation where they accused Liquid Marketplace of being a multi-layer fraud, taking in $2.7 million from the sale of these fractionalized collectibles. The platform allegedly did not do exactly what it promised. Some of the blockchain tokens did not even mint. But even
shocker,
allegation that approximately $3 million was misappropriated from $10 million they raised of investor funds. This is a very similar claim to the one I had tried to verify. Ryan Bahadouri, the guy I tried to speak to, was accused of, quote, making hidden payments to shell corporations without any legitimate business purpose, as were 2 other of the founders. And Ryan was accused of, quote, using company credit cards to buy high-end fashion, expensive jewelry and watches.
Nice, of course.
Services. If only there was someone who could have investigated this sooner. Now, it is really important to say Logan Paul is not accused by the OSC. Only 3 of his co-founders and his company is. But given the history, I had questions. After all, Logan's promotional video about Liquid Marketplace is still up. And the reason many people cared about Liquid Marketplace at all,
I can't believe we're doing this again.
Logan Paul. So, here were my questions. And as I read this, it's important to correct. I say Liquid Marketplace got accused of embezzlement. Technically, the OSC alleged misappropriation of funds. Those are similar, they're not the same, so I wanted to correct that. But here's what I asked. Quote, did you take any action on hearing these allegations over a year ago? Did you get approached by the Ontario Securities?
I know Logan hate to see a text message come through from him.
Marketplace lied about their claims of insurance, appraisals, and co-ownership as the Ontario Securities Commission alleges. You can see I gave him 24 hours to respond on June 26th at 2:03 p.m. And I was promptly sued June 27th at 11:28 a.m. with roughly 3 hours to spare. Now I want to be clear. I don't know the answers to the questions I sent. Maybe Logan secretly whistleblew to the OSC when I first went to him. I don't know. That's why you ask questions as a reporter. But now the story is not about those questions. It's about why I was sued immediately after asking them and threatened if I reported about Liquid Marketplace in a way they didn't like. This is not how I wanted this story to come out because there's still so much we don't know and so much I can't say now for legal reasons. Maybe Logan's totally innocent. Maybe he surrounded himself with scumbags who defrauded his fans. Maybe he'll do a refund for this project. I don't know because I never got the chance to find out. I tried to investigate.
And doesn't that say everything? That he never got the chance to figure it out? I think that says everything. I know he's not allowed to say that because he's getting sued, but I think that says everything.
I was stonewalled and sued when I asked questions. Make no mistake though, this investigation is still ongoing, and you can reach me at the email below if you were affected. I will release my full investigation when it's appropriate because even if Logan doesn't want to answer questions, it doesn't mean I have to stop asking them. So in summary, Logan's lawsuit is not about my original reporting into CryptoZoo. Even if you take this lawsuit on its own without context, it's an argument over Logan not refunding victims in full. It's Logan insisting he's not to blame. It's all his business partner's fault. But I don't think that aligns with the publicly known facts. That's my opinion. For years, Logan has controlled CryptoZoo, and yet the game is still not out. Logan is now blaming the government for that instead of himself, and he also blames me for losing his good reputation, but you can't lose something you never had. Not to mention, Logan is arguably richer than ever, and he's on the record finding my reporting thorough and good-hearted. So this defamation lawsuit feels frivolous even on the surface. But if you dig deeper, there's an even more compelling story, which I personally believe, where the goal is to crush new investigations while taking revenge on old ones. In this version, Logan might not even care about winning. Legal battles are expensive, and in the world of money, he's got me beat. So he can try to silence me by weaponizing the law, he can sue me for doing my job, he can sue me for asking questions, and he can sue me for asking for refunds. But it's going to backfire, because I think it reveals Logan as a bully rather than someone who's truly sorry. Because Logan may be a master at convincing people he's changed, but I'm convinced it's the follow-through where things go wrong. You know, the actually changing part. There was a time where even I believed Logan was going to fully refund victims. That's why I was so nice to him and tried to help despite him threatening to sue me. But when it came time to pay up, Logan chose a minority refund and to fight the rest of the victims in court who wanted their money. And when I complained about that, Logan went...
Sorry, I really just can't wrap my head around that people out there, like, supported this project of his because they were fans of him, and when they want refunds, he's taking them to court and suing them. Or if they want partial refunds, they have to, like, say that they're never going to sue him. It's just a lot to process. That is, like, these are the people that people make famous and get to brag about $45 million in a month and all like this. You know what I mean?
Sorries and thank yous to lawyers and I'm suing you real quick. The irony is, it was that same initial belief in Logan's capacity to change that also made me bring up Liquid Marketplace to help stop potential problems. And yet here we are. The company is now accused of being a multi-layered fraud by the OSC, and the CEO, who I tried to talk to multiple times, is alleged to have misappropriated money. This is despite me trying to talk to Logan directly many times as he asked.
Maybe we could have talked about this if you had reached out to me, personally. Not my manager, Jeff, who is not me, Steven.
Well, I did try to reach out personally, and I got sued and threatened a day later. That, I think, says a lot about Logan's supposed change and his belief in accountability. Maybe the person he really believes in accountability for is not himself, but me. Specifically, when I try to get accountability from him. If you want to support this lawsuit, the best way is coffeezilla.store. You have 14...
Oh my God. These comments, I'm just going through them. Trying to silence an investigative journalist is always a great sign of innocence. Logan Paul dealing with the consequences of his own actions. Impossible. How he still has an audience is disgusting. The fact he'd rather go through all this and hire 5 lawyers rather than pay some people back is crazy. Definition of a scumbag. Three things certain in life: death, taxes, and Logan fraud. Damn. It's just crazy because the amount of money that he spends throwing around in lawsuits about people who are calling him out for things, he could actually just put that money into stopping these stories being done in the first place by giving people back their money. Damn, he sucks. Well, if anything, I found a love for CoffeeZilla and all this. Didn't know who he was before, and let me tell you something. I've clocked in at the CoffeeZilla fucking factory. Oh my god. Logan Paul's such a scumbag, dude. And this, like, just pretending to... Why am I acting like this is a rocking chair? It isn't. I would love a rocking... I should get a rocking chair. Wait, I should get a rocking chair. Just persuading people that you have changed and people fucking believe it. And you never do. Muckers, let me know your opinion of this. I'm so glad I'm caught up. If there's anything else, let me know. But I definitely want to cover this more. I will see you in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well. Wow, I'm really enjoying this back and forth motion. All right, I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye. Okay, everyone. There was everything. Start to finish. My God. I will see you in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well. Have a great night, and goodbye.